through traffic from Diamond District at 12:30 yesterday. The funny thing is she had it starting yesterday. She sent it at 1.
Right.
And then she complains when she doesn't get an invoice. She'll be, I guarantee you, she's going to be all over me today. Where are my invoices? I'll bet $100 on it.
And for what they're paying.
Right. All right, I'm just going to tell you I'm a little nervous right now because I was trying to preview spots and it wasn't working off the computer. Now, I may have been doing something wrong, but I thought the method that I used worked before. So I am hoping that we fire at 01. If we don't, I'll just kind of
point at me and I'll just start yelling.
There you go.
Okay. Morning, everybody.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this first Tuesday of November. Hey, that sounds like it's election day. How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton? MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Thanks so much for being with us. Hope your week got off to a good start yesterday. How are you, Mark?
I am doing well. I, got to bed early because, well, there was no need for me to watch the fourth quarter of the game you were working. So I watched a little college hoop. Fortunately.
How was that?
You know what? The Arizona-Florida game, and I know Florida fans are bummed out they lost. It was a really entertaining game. I mean, they got up there around 100 points. They were, I think, both in the 90s or one in the 90s, one in the 80s. Back and forth a lot of the game. Arizona took control in the second half. Florida made a late run, but it was good. It was a good basketball game to start the season. So I enjoyed that. Your game, not so much, but well, I mean, come on.
Hey,
27-10 at one point, for crying out loud. I mean,
I know. Never mind the fact the Arizona Cardinals are involved, and they have such a huge following nationwide.
I will say I was in the car picking up my daughter for the 4th and 4 or 4th and goal from the 4, going, I know Moulton right now. I know him well. And he is just screaming at Troy, kick the damn field goal.
Losing my mind.
I get it. We are in a go for it era of football. We have never, ever been in a moment in football quite like we are right now. First drive of the game, move the ball down without any problems. Struggle in the red zone. Get it to the 4. It's 4th down. Take the 3 points.
Now, I said in Troy's ear, I go, analytics says go for it. I'd kick. And he nods his head. But then he points out that first drive of the game last week for the Cowboys, they got 1st and goal at the 3. And they were forced to settle for a field goal. And he felt that it set the tone for them for the rest of that game. And the rest of that game was Denver took it to him. And so he felt that Schottenheimer was going to go for it because they didn't want to get off to the exact same start 2 games in a row. So, and he was right. And the Cardinals, I think, sacked Dak.
They did.
On the 4th down play.
Correct.
But to me, the bigger one was they're down 3 scores, first play of the 4th quarter. And it's 4th and 3. And it's going to be a 39-yard field goal. They're down 3 scores. They're down 17 points. The 4th quarter is just starting. Kick the field goal. It's 4th and 3. Kick the field goal. Make it a 2-score game. They don't. Then they run a 12-yard pattern on 4th and 3 when seemingly a 5, 6, 8-yard pattern would do. It gets knocked down, and Arizona takes over. What happens? Dallas gets a 3-and-out defensively. They hadn't had one all game, and then they drive right down and score a touchdown. Well, if you had kicked the field goal, it's a 7-point game. And now, with 11 minutes to go in the game, you're down 10. And you could have easily been down 7. Okay. By the way, for the record, analytics said go for it. Oh, yeah. Go, 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 go. But I don't know. Didn't make sense to us in the booth. You could tell. Joe didn't hold back. I don't know how many people were watching at that point, but Joe didn't hold back. He said, he pointed out what analytics said, and he goes, but I don't get it. You're down 3 scores. You have a chance to get a score here. Don't you take it? Because also, by the way, if you convert and score a touchdown, you know what you're still down? 2 scores. It's just a different 2 scores. So to me, it's kind of like, when you're down 2 scores late, isn't the object to make it a 1-score game and line up for the onside kick? When you're down 3 scores, what's the next object? Make it a 2-score game, right?
Maybe it all ended when Greg the Leg missed that field goal that cost me $8,000 in the Super Bowl. Maybe that was it, David. Because that was, I thought, the smart play. Like I did.
Right.
I remember the game. They're down 10. It's like, okay, we've got to get 3 before we got to get 2 scores. So they decide, kick the field goal, try for the onside kick. The problem is he missed the damn field goal.
Correct. And for those that don't remember, Patriots-Rams, it was 13-3 late, under 2 minutes to go. And then Mark described.
I had 3 and 6 on a board that the last score got all the money.
And so if Greg the Leg had made and it was less than a 40-yard field goal.
And it was a damn chip shot. It was like a 34-yard field goal.
Right.
And he
missed it.
Pull hooked it like I do off the first tee with nerves into the woods, and I'm dropping, hitting 3.
Instead of the final score being 13-6, it was 13-3. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a 7-year grudge. And when do you think it's going to end?
Never.
I say when he dies. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Never.
Right.
Never.
He's going to pull his wife and 2 kids close to him and say, find Greg Zuerlein and punch him in the mouth for me.
I will say, David, last night's Cowboy loss really puts a damper on whatever trade the Cowboys today.
Come on. Jerry Jones is radio TV gold. He's a moron, but this is gold. Well, we've already made 1 trade. We haven't announced it yet. We've got 2 more lined up. Let's see what happens tonight. Wait, what? Wait,
he's something.
What did you just say?
I don't know if there's a bigger ego on the planet. I really don't know. And I'm talking planet. I'm not saying there aren't egos that are equal, but I don't know if there's a bigger ego on the planet. The only thing that would have been better is if Jerry Jones last night would have been wearing Stephen A's pink suit. How many of you didn't watch it because you're part of the 4th largest television subscription service out there, YouTube TV? The only reason I was able to watch it is that the neighborhood I live in, we have an HOA, and we switched to fiber and dumped Xfinity. So for a few months, they're giving us free basic cable on whatever it is they get. So I was able to watch the game last night. So funny. My wife went to bed about second quarter, and she walked out and she said, "Why can't I get the game?" I said, "Because YouTube and Disney are in a fight right now, and it doesn't look like they want to make up anytime soon." And you wonder who has hand in this. You know, everybody thinks ESPN, but the talk is that YouTube TV will be the largest television subscription service by the end of the decade. Right now, it's fourth. Xfinity, one other cable service, and DirecTV are ahead of it. And you wonder how long this will last. I mean, I think ESPN's digging their heels in saying, you think a streaming service is going to be number one? Well, we want our streaming service to get all those subscriptions. But we already missed one college football weekend, and I didn't because I was at a game. Otherwise, I would have missed it. I don't know what I'm going to do come this weekend. Like, I have to make changes if this is what it's going to be.
Well, don't you think that, once again, the consumer is ultimately going to decide here that, you know, Mark, are you going to be loyal to your TV service because you liked it, you went with them, and they are giving you everything else? Or are you going to say, well, I'm going to have to bail on you guys because you don't have this, and this is important to me?
Or do I have to? I mean, that's the problem. And I got to do a little work in the next couple of days to figure out how I can get everything I want. Because currently, I have an HBO subscription. I'm good. I can get all of those products. That's TNT and all the Turner. If I get ESPN, I can get all that. My question is, what do I have to do to get the Fox networks, the Big Ten network, FS1, and the other places that have college football? So I've got a little work to do to figure this out. Old guy's got to figure out his streaming options because
Right.
I'm not loyal to YouTube TV. I don't care. I got YouTube TV because they've got the Sunday ticket. That's why I have it. Period. End of sentence. They mean nothing to me.
Okay. But I think, you know, obviously
I'm loyal to this show. After that, I'm loyal to our sponsors. I'm loyal to my wife and my children. After that,
Okay. All right.
Palmer. Sorry.
Wow. Look at this. Greg Zerline, Cedric Maxwell in the first segment of the show today. Somebody's fired up. Miller and Moulton on this first Tuesday in November. But yes, with the Arizona Cardinals winning 27-17, for those of you that didn't watch or couldn't watch, road teams went 10-4 in the NFL this week. 10-4. Been a wild up and down. I mean, what did the home teams went like 11-3 2 weeks ago? Road teams 10-4 this week. And for those who maybe pay attention to football for non-entertainment purposes, if you took the underdogs and the points this week in the NFL, you went 9-5. So there you go. I do love people in the Twitch chat room and YouTube chat room are trying to help you out here.
I appreciate it. I thank them. I don't know if I want to go subscribe to another service. The good news is with these, you're not signing long-term deals. You can dump them. You can just say bye-bye. So we'll see. A little disappointed in both ESPN and YouTube TV for not getting this done and ruining a college football weekend for so many. If I would have been home, I would have been outraged. I would have been going nuts to not be able to spend my Saturday doing what I love, and that's watching college football. We don't get very many of these weekends. We get 13, 14 weekends. That's it.
Right.
And they took one away from a lot of folks. Miller and Moulton, Tuesday. That means Pat Kirwan will join us in the 8 o'clock hour, starting 25 minutes away. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, Cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
This year during Thanksgiving week, Fort Myers takes the national stage, hosting not one but two elite women's college basketball tournaments, the Fort Myers Tip-Off and Coconut Hoops, both featuring Power 4 teams and nationally ranked programs. Few places in the country can showcase this level of talent. We're proud that Fort Myers is one of them. Don't miss your chance. For tickets, go to visitfortmyers.com/basketball. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Hey, guess what? It's another day that ends in Y, and Michael is in the chat room talking incessantly about the Broncos.
What?
Oh, my goodness.
Empire looks great on paper. And I'm not just saying this, to be devil's advocate, but, there are some teams who in baseball won the trade deadline and then the deals don't work out. I will say Jalen Phillips has 6.5 sacks in 8 games this year. The other two guys hadn't done much this year. They were kind of let go because they weren't doing much. So it'll be interesting to see what you get out of them. But yeah, I like the moves they've made. I also think those veteran players going to a winning situation oftentimes reinvigorates them. Go Raiders. I think it was because if he kicks the extra point, they tie. They're 2-5-1. So he went for it because they were 2-5, and a tie does them absolutely no good.
It doesn't know. They had to win that game.
Yeah.
If they thought they were going to get back in it, they had to go for that goal rate. I was texting my buddy who's a Raiders fan. I'm like, when they score, I'm like, you got to go for 2. His response to me when a tie is like a win for the Raiders right now.
No, Aurora, I don't. It's probably just a lack of energy. But thanks for asking. I don't think I do, Aurora. By the way, that is a beautiful name.
It really is.
Aurora,
you make me smile every day.
Moore.
Yeah.
That is a beautiful name. Yes, Aurora. After Monday Night Football, I do well if I get 4 hours sleep, and my sleep was interrupted. So I got like 2.5 to 3. So, yeah, I'm always tired on Tuesdays during Monday Night Football season. I either take a nap right after the show or I sleep a good chunk of the flight home. Yeah, Empire, I would too. Especially since Vic, I think, is coached to the 3 guys that you acquired.
Yeah. Hey, look, we said it yesterday, Empire. The rest of the NFC, do something.
Yep.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X this first Tuesday of November. So, is Christmas up? Just curious. I'm mentally preparing for when I walk through the doors around dinner time tonight, because when I left, the Halloween stuff was up. And unlike your household, Mark, where you guys celebrate, as we should, Halloween, Thanksgiving season, Christmas season, I know what my place of living is going to look like when I go through the doors in about 11 hours.
Jingle effing bells, David, is what you're walking into. Okay? Jingle effing bells. You might as well put Mariah Carey on your phone loudly as you walk in the house and just say, you know what? I'm in. I'm in.
So when I'm taking the taxi from the airport home, should I just call up on my phone and play Christmas music in the back?
As a matter of fact, you should. David, we missed a story yesterday.
Excuse me?
Well, no, and I'm not blaming you, but I had it up on my computer, and you never mentioned it during the starting 5, and we got on because there was so much going on. And for 2, older guys and one very old soul, I'm surprised that this one slipped by you because of your love for the business that we're in. But Bob Trumpy passed away over the weekend, and he died at the age of 80. He played for the Bengals, worked in Cincinnati, was a national broadcaster. What I didn't know, and he did Super Bowls, he did the Ryder Cup, he did the Olympics. I mean, he is was a very good broadcaster.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. I didn't know the story of what makes him better than most. What he did in 1983. He was doing a sports talk show. In 1983, by the way, on radio. There wasn't a ton of sports talk on the radio at 83.
No, there wasn't.
I mean, the fact that Cincinnati had a sports talk show, is kind of a big deal. I remember Cleveland had one that I used to listen to when going to my aunt and uncle's house. But on WLW, the monster station in Cincinnati, he was doing his sports show when a caller phoned in and said that they wanted to commit suicide. He kept the caller on the line for 2 hours and was able at one point to give the woman gave the phone to her son, and they were able to get the address, and police were able to come over and help. And he's credited largely for saving this woman's life. And I never knew that story about Trumpy. And I was amazed that I never knew it, because I thought I knew a decent amount about the guy. But the fact that, when we were watching the NFL, Trumpy was one of our guys, David,
No doubt about it. I mean, he replaced, I believe, Merlin Olsen as the lead analyst for NBC. Merlin Olsen was doing the games with Enberg, and then I think Trumpy was the one who followed Merlin Olsen as the lead analyst on NBC.
So I just thought I thought it was worthy of bringing it up, but
great story.
But Bob Trumpy died at the age of 80. The Bengals announced it on Sunday. He played for the Bengals, was a broadcaster for the Bengals, and then obviously did work with NBC for many years. But I had no idea about the story of Bob Trumpy essentially saving a woman's life who was going to commit suicide, and talked about that was suffering domestic abuse from her husband. And he talked about, hey, there's people out there that love you. And somehow her son was there, and they got the son on the phone, and he got the address and got police and people over to the house to save what could have been a horrific situation. I can't imagine all the years that I've spent in talk radio. You never would think of dealing with something that massive and how you would react. I know Stern famously did the same thing in his years on New York radio, but I never knew the story about Trumpy.
I had never heard it either. Also, your point of in the early 80s, I mean, got a lot of people listening who are probably living somewhere now where they were not living in the early 80s. Did your town or city have a sports talk show? New York had one. I grew up in the greater New York metropolitan area. They had one talk show. It was at night. It was not during the day. They had a talk show in the evening, and then they had a guy who did a talk show on weekends. That was it. WFAN didn't come into existence until the summer of '87. So, Philadelphia and New York were the two markets that went all sports at roughly the same time. And they're credited with, making the genre work.
Right. I remember Pete Franklin was the guy. I couldn't think of his name, was in Cleveland.
And then he went to New York in the early days of FAN. It didn't work. His act did not work in New York, and he ran back to Cleveland. But to me, what's interesting is look at the guys based out of Cincinnati who went national. You got Trumpy, Collinsworth, obviously, but also you had Boomer Esiason. I mean, Solomon Wilcots, who, does NFL games and does a national talk show on NFL radio. I mean, there are quite a few guys who've gone big time out of Cincinnati. And obviously none of them won a Super Bowl there. But, now Al Michaels worked in Cincinnati. I don't believe he's from there. He's been based on the West Coast for a long time. But yes, and back in the day, and I will say, would you be in favor of this? This is a bit of a tangent. Mark, back in the day, when the networks did the World Series, it would be Kurt Gowdy, say, for NBC. It's an NBC World Series. And if the games were in Cincinnati, Kurt Gowdy would do the game with the Reds' home play-by-play announcer. And then when the World Series moved to Oakland, Kurt would do the games with the A's home television announcer. And that's how the World Series was broadcast to the nation.
Well, I would be all in favor of it. What I remember is that all those years ago when we had Harry Callis on, and he didn't get to do the one World Series because they didn't do local radio at that time because the national radio took over, and there was like rules and regulations that the league had that precluded the home announcers from doing the game. And I always, and he was, that bothered him.
Well, and they changed it because that was 1980 when the Phillies won the World Series. You're right. There's no Harry Callis call of the Phillies winning the 1980 World Series. Major League Baseball allowed local radio to do the games, I believe, in the early 2000s. So when the Phillies won it in 2008, there's a famous call of Harry Callis and the Phillies winning the World Series. Thank goodness they won when they did, because he died a short time later.
So that, I don't know about the home announcer working with TV. I think that would be weird for most people now, but I'm just very pleased that MLB righted a wrong.
Right.
And allowed those guys to do it, because most of us, there are a lot of us that might want to hear our guys, that might turn the TV down to listen to our guys instead of their guys do a national game. And certainly when you have a Harry Callis doing games, you want to hear his
Harry Callis, right.
I mean, that's just the way it is. Miller and Moulton, going down memory lane, broadcasting-wise a little bit there. The starting five, that's what we do next. Pat Kirwan coming up at 8 o'clock. Football season is back, and celebrate your game day with Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell him Miller and Moulton sent you.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor. We fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 13325.
This is Miller and Moulton.
All right. Your 1 o'clock games this week. Ravens, Vikings.
Oh, they're done because they were just through October.
Okay. Well, that sucks.
Yeah, they were a 3-month buy.
Gotcha.
Yeah, DC, they met. They were both working in Boston. They met and got married. They moved to Florida, got divorced. Dick remarried and I think is living in Arizona.
Today is American Football Day, by the way. Didn't know it had a day, but it has a day.
I was going to say, do we ask people what's your favorite football, NFL or college?
Why not?
Of course. How much of a difference is there between Saturdays and Sundays these days? Yes, it is, Spitz. You made it this long. You have midweek action. Oh, okay. You want us to include high school?
Too late. Too late. Sorry.
I didn't even think about it. Sorry.
Is Lane going to show up at all, Adam? I mean, that's the question. Not would he show up sooner, because he's got a pretty. I mean, he right now, according to the people that do the predictions or the accounts, he's got the third best shot in the SEC to make the playoff. He's got a better shot right now by percentage points than Georgia does.
And it's all because of their schedule.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. No. I'm not, I mean, we all know who won the game. I'm just saying he's going, I mean, he's going to not do anything, say anything, answer anything until Ole Miss gets to the playoff or doesn't get to the playoff.
I mean, Ole Miss has got the Citadel this week. Then they host Florida. Then they have a bye before they play the Egg Bowl in Starkville. The Citadel, the Gators, both at home, Mississippi State.
I got to tell you, I'm listening to Levitard on the way up Friday. And I don't know who the characters are in the show, but I think it's Zaslow starts to talk. They're doing a huge college football segment. Like they did two in a row. And this Zaslow says Mississippi State's sneaky decent. And they're all over him for that comment. And he's like, they will win their first conference game. I just want the next segment when he's on, because it had me laughing because they are sneaky decent.
In fact, I think their coach has done an amazing job this year.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Pat Kirwan will join us a little over an hour. Talk all things NFL. Trade deadlines this afternoon.
Wonder how many more trades the Eagles will make while everybody else in the NFC sits on their hands. One team seems to understand that they have flaws. They want to do everything they can to correct them. And who won the last game last year?
Well, that would be the Eagles, Mark.
Well, then why the hell is everybody else not acting the way the Eagles are? It's driving me nuts.
Eagles trying to do what the Dodgers just did. repeat. And remember, Mark, after the Dodgers won the World Series in 2024, they basically sat on their hands and didn't do much to try to improve that club.
Right.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. They went out and signed 3 frontline pitchers. My bad. And needed all of them in Game 7. But boom.
Unbelievable. Where's the action? David, right now, we put that over under at what?
Well, you went, I think, as high as 5.5.
And you went over 5.5.
Well, and I'm going to win because, well, as we're about to find out, we had a little bit of action yesterday. Time now for
The Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is the Starting Five.
Well, we'll start with the NFL. Monday Night Football. Cowboys had not lost at home. They were 2-0-1 at home. They had scored 40 or more points in all 3 home games. Well, they didn't win, and they didn't score 40 points last night. For that matter, they didn't even score 20. Arizona beat Dallas for the 5th straight time. Arizona is 8-1 in their last 9 meetings with the Cowboys. How about that? Cardinals
We told you all of that yesterday, and both of us were too stupid to take Arizona.
Well, yeah, because Dallas was going to score like 35, 40 points, Mark, so they were going to cover the 3.5. They didn't. Arizona snaps a 5-game skid. They had lost 5 in a row by a total of 13 points. Jacoby Brissett with 3 touchdowns. I don't know if anybody cares, but Joe Buck and Troy Aikman were making the case at the end of that game. Arizona would be nuts to put Kyler Murray back in there. That's how well Jacoby Brissett's playing. I don't think they're going to put Kyler Murray back in there next week either. 27-17 Arizona, they're 3-5. Cowboys head to their bye week at 3-5-1. We mentioned trade deadline is this afternoon. Yesterday during the show, the Dolphins traded edge rusher Jalen Phillips to the Eagles for a 3rd-round pick. The Eagles have 2 3rd-round picks. The Dolphins are getting the worst of the 2 3rd-round picks. They're getting Philly's pick in next year's draft. Joe Alt, the Chargers tackle, out for the year, so they have lost both of their outstanding tackles to injuries this year. Alt will have surgery on his ankle, and he's done. Ravens made a deal yesterday, Mark. They acquired edge rusher from Tennessee, Dramont Jones. They gave up a 5th-round pick in the process. Jerry Jones announced the Cowboys have already made a deal and then didn't tell anybody what the deal was and said they had 2 more in the hopper. So I guess
I hope they don't make any trades today. Nothing would make me happier than that.
Troy Aikman, 3rd quarter when Joe's bringing up that what Jerry, who I guess went on Stephen A. Smith's radio show yesterday and announced that they've already made a deal. They'll announce it on Tuesday, and they got 2 more that they may go through with as well. And so Joe retells that, and Troy goes, well, they may want to cancel that deal because it's not like they're 1 player away. Boom!
Well, he's right.
And it's not like when Troy Aikman talks about the Cowboys, it gets any attention in Dallas. I mean,
Not at all.
Pretty much ignored. Dan Quinn, the Commanders head coach, he fell on the sword yesterday. He said, yeah, Jaden Daniels' injury is all on me. He shouldn't have been in the game. We brought that up yesterday and wondered, NFL, it's tough to bench everybody. When do you wave the white flag? There's about 5 minutes to go in that game. They were down 38-7, and Daniels got hurt. And so Dan Quinn, the head coach, said, yeah, that's on me. He should have been out of the game. Kevin Stefanski is giving up play calling duties. He's going to turn that over to offensive coordinator Tommy Rees, the former Notre Dame quarterback, who's been an offensive coordinator at a few places, including Alabama and Notre Dame, and now the Browns. College football, We've got Maction tonight, Mark. And what a dandy it is. 0-8 UMass on the road, taking on 3-6 Akron.
Oh, this has to bother you, David. You can't put this as part of your Elite Eight.
I know. I can't bet against UMass.
I know. It's got to sting a little bit.
Now, that's on CBS Sports Network, though, at 7 Eastern, so some people may not count that. But there is Miami of Ohio against Ohio, a pair of 5-3 teams, also at 7 Eastern on ESPN2. Ladies and gentlemen, that's your Maction. Before the Maction, I believe, or is it at halftime of the Maction? Don't we get the first college football playoff committee rankings tonight? So it'll be interesting. You know, Miami fans wondering, do they have a chance if they run the table? They're 10-2. Notre Dame runs the table 10-2. They beat Notre Dame. AP poll right now, Notre Dame is 8 spots ahead of Miami. Will be interesting to see if the college football playoff committee is willing to go against the AP and coaches poll rankings so far. College hoops got underway last night. Mark referenced it earlier. He took in some Florida-Arizona action. 2 top 15 teams. Gators, of course, the defending national champs. Preseason ranking number 3. Arizona beat them 93-87. Thomas Hawk did at 27 for the Gators. Alabama pounded North Dakota. Auburn needed overtime to beat Bethune 95-90 in Stephen Pearl's coaching debut. Mark, did you see even the highlight? Auburn's up 3 late. Bethune puts up a half-court shot at the buzzer, and they fouled him. He goes to the line, hits all 3 free throws to force overtime, but Auburn survived. Miami beat Jacksonville in Jai Lucas's head coaching debut. FAU, in a good one at home, beat Boston College in overtime, 83-78. UCF at home edged Hofstra, 82-78. South Florida in Brian Hodgson's head coaching debut bombed FAMU by 35. And FGCU, playing an NAIA school, led New College by 15 at the half before beating them 96-60. Women's hoops, Alabama, Auburn won. Miami, UCF, South Florida, Florida State, Jacksonville in overtime, and the Gators all won. 9 games in the NBA last night. Heat got 25 points, 10 rebounds from Bam Adebayo, and they edged the Clippers 120-119. Knicks over Washington, 119-102. Towns with 33 points, 13 rebounds. Brooklyn's 0-7. Julius Randle with a triple-double. Anthony Edwards still out injured, 19 points, 11 rebounds, 10 assists. T-Wolves, 125-109. Giannis with a buzzer beater. Milwaukee beat Indiana 117-115. Utah with a tip-in with less than a second to go edged the Celtics 105-103. Jaylen Brown not happy with the officiating in the final minute of that game, and he didn't hold anything back in the postgame. We'll be very curious as to the fine for the Celtics' Jaylen Brown later today. Houston, 4th straight win. They beat Dallas 110-102. Cade Cunningham, 33 points, Mark, for your Pistons. They took care of Memphis 114-106. Ja Morant returned after the 1-game suspension for conduct detrimental to the team. He basically told the coach what he thinks about him. And so the coach sat him out of game. So Ja, last night after the game, not a happy guy in the post game, and was asked, has this taken some of your enjoyment out of the game away? And he went, oh, yeah. That situation bears watching.
First name to be traded this year in the NBA. And that's only because Trae Young's hurt.
Right. It would have been Trae Young, but he's going to miss the next 4 to 6 weeks, so it could very well be Ja Morant. This just in, Jokic did not have a triple-double last night. What the heck? I mean, he did have a season-high 34 points and 14 assists. But come on, 7 rebounds? Well, what the heck was he doing? Yeah, Denver edged Sacramento 130-124. The Lakers had no LeBron, no Luka, no Austin Reeves. Hey, don't laugh. Reeves had 91 points in back-to-back games, okay, last week. So, I mean, he's a pretty good player. And they still beat Portland 123-115. 4 games in the NHL. Penguins led Toronto 3-0 in the third. And the Leafs won 4-3.
In regulation.
Right. They don't even get a point out of the deal.
That's a pretty big win for Toronto and an unbelievable loss for the Pens, who are off to a great start.
Blues snapped the 7-game slide. They edged Edmonton 3-2. Vancouver in overtime beat Nashville 5-4. Preds at least got a point. They scored 2 goals late third to force the OT. And the Kraken, Mark, are off to a good start. Seattle beat Chicago 3-1. Seattle is 6-2-4 on the young season. Baseball players have 5 days after the World Series to declare whether they're opting in or out of their current contracts and declare for free agency. Well, the Red Sox third baseman Alex Bregman walked away from 2 years and $80 million on his contract. He walked away from $40 million a year because he's looking for a 5-year deal. And he's in his early 30s. And remember, this is fully guaranteed money. This is MLB money. He walked away from it.
Right, because he signed with Boston over the Tigers. Will the Tigers make that 5-year offer for him?
You know, Alex Bregman could have really helped the Tigers in the playoffs last year. Anyway, Yankees, Clay Bellinger at $25 million on a contract for this coming season. He said, come on, that's not enough money. He opted out. The Mets, Edwin Diaz, one of the best closers in the game. He had $37 million over the next 2 years on his contract. He said, come on, I can't pitch for $18.5 million. What, are you kidding me? I'm opting out of that. Padres closer Robert Suarez opted out of his deal. Brandon Woodruff, Pete Alonso opted out of their deals. Baseball free agency starts at the end of the week, like in 5 business days. That's it. It starts by the weekend. So, of course, they usually move very slow, but I mean,
who's the big Boris client that's got to get signed first?
Well, let's see. Just how many of those guys are Boris clients? I think 4 of the guys I mentioned are. One other baseball note: the Braves did the expected. They promoted Walt Weiss from bench coach to manager. He had been next to, who's it? Snitker?
Yeah.
Who's the longtime Braves manager there?
You got it.
50 years. Right. 50 years in the organization. He'd been his bench coach for the last 8 years. So Walt Weiss, who before that was manager in Colorado, but I mean, Colorado's barely part of the majors. Walt Weiss, manager of the Braves. And at 8 minutes before the hour mark, that was the starting 5. 5 big stories, and $40 million a year for the next 2 years is just not enough here on Miller and Moulton.
I'm surprised, David, because nobody, and I mean nobody, loves halls of fame like you do. And the the contemporary baseball era ballot was revealed yesterday. Bonds and Clemens are on it, along with Carlos Delgado, Jeff Kent, Don Mattingly, Gary Sheffield, Fernando Valenzuela, and Dale Murphy.
A lot of people pushing for both Mattingly and Murphy.
I was a little bummed out as a Tiger fan because Lou Whitaker didn't make the list. And his WAR better than a lot of guys that are in the hall. So Bonds and Clements, the most notable. But as you said, Mattingly and Murphy, 2 names that will get a lot of consideration from the baseball writers. Miller and Moulton. We've got a poll question on the other side, and we're about 60 minutes away from one Pat Kirwan.
They've cut the nets, they've raised the banners, and now they're headed to Fort Myers. Michigan State, North Carolina, and other top programs take the court in the Skechers Fort Myers Tip-Off this Thanksgiving week. Legendary programs, championship traditions, college basketball's biggest names, live at Suncoast Arena. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours now at FortMyersTipoff.com/go. That's FortMyersTipoff.com/go.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to NolanAgency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or NolanAgency.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
So Left Twix, you're saying if there's only one spot and it's 10-2 Georgia, 10-2 Notre Dame, and 10-2 Miami, and nobody makes it to a conference championship game, who gets in? Trying to figure out, does it matter who Georgia loses to? They lose to Texas or they lose to Georgia Tech?
I think in order it would go Georgia, Notre Dame, Miami.
So you're saying they lose to Texas? Yeah, Yeah, I think the committee would take Georgia close. It's funny though how much the win against Georgia Tech would help Georgia. Listen, Michael, I might be living in fantasy land. I think there's going to be a half a dozen trades today. Now, I don't know if there'll be a major trade like 4 years ago when Von Miller got dealt. You know,
If you were Detroit, would you give up one for Hawkinson there from the Bengals?
if he passed he's a rental. I don't know if I'd give up a 1. I'd give up a 2 if he could pass the physical. I'd need to know how bad that hip is. Well, Left Twix, I think tonight's committee rankings will tell a lot. I mean, you know, if there's as much separation between Notre Dame and Miami by the playoff committee as there is in the AP poll, how is Miami going to leapfrog Notre Dame if they both keep winning?
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this first Tuesday of November. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Did you post that poll question?
I did.
So what is today again?
It's American Football Day.
Okay.
I didn't know there was such a day. And I mean, let's be honest. How the hell can it only be one day? I thought it was basically on our show, it's 365 days. Okay.
I was going to say, we get yelled at by people when we devoted a baseball hour, when we devote segments to other sports. Man, we're only giving football one day? You mean it's in the same category as like baked potato day? And
Exactly.
I mean, wow. Feel as if this sport's being cheated a bit. And by a bit, I mean about 11 months worth.
It's the day. So we just ask you very simply, college football or pro football?
There you go.
Which is your favorite?
Right.
And, you know, I was a Saturday guy. I became a Sunday guy. And I believe that this year and last with the 12-team playoff, I have become a Saturday guy again.
Ooh,
I am enjoying Saturdays so much right now. You know it. I mean, I send you the pictures every Saturday where I've got 6 games going at once. I ignore my family from noon until midnight and just sit there and stare at television screens. And while I watch on Sunday, it's not the same this year. Sunday, I'm making dinner and getting things ready. Saturday, I just want to watch.
So you flip-flop back, did you?
I am. I'm a politician when it comes to football, David.
Listen, if you're going to pick an issue to flip-flop on, I don't know how much grief you can get by flip-flopping on that one.
Exactly.
Not in this country. I mean, you know, your constituents are just like, well, I mean, he's a good guy. I mean, he loves football. I mean, he still loves football. I mean, I'm still voting for him. He still loves football.
But I had, maybe a little recency bias. I was obviously just in Jacksonville for the cocktail party. It was amazing, every part of it, from the time we got there Friday until the time I left on Sunday. I will say, stop for a bite early in Jacksonville before I dropped my son off at the airport because he flew home out of Jacksonville. And I had to laugh as we were leaving the restaurant we were at. 3 women. It looked like 2 moms and 1 daughter. The moms looked to be about my age, all in Jags gear. And it was early. I mean, the Jags played at 4. We had an early lunch. I mean, like we were done eating by 12:15. And I took him to the airport and started making my way home. And I'm like, look at that. Look at them in their Jags stuff. Way to go.
And it's not like they were going to the game. Jags were playing on the road.
Right.
So good. Yeah, no, it's a Jags town and not much room for much else. Saturdays, that's a different story. A lot of Gators, a lot of Dogs, a lot of Knowles. All right. But oh no, it's all Jags. It's all the time. By the way, it happened, I think, on Friday, and we meant Travis Hunter could very well be out for the year.
Oh, I know.
A non-contact practice injury in which apparently he was playing defense and the ball was thrown on the other side of the field and he just stepped awkwardly. He did not tear his ACL, but they don't know when he's coming back. So that's a key loss for the Jags. I mean, never mind the fact that, and Pat Kirwan did mention this leading into the draft, hey, if you're going to play him both ways, think about how valuable he is. He gets hurt, you lose 2 guys. And so Jacksonville will have to overcome that. And are they one of the teams that's active today? They're in it. They're 5-3. They need help on defense.
If the season ended today, they're in.
Yeah, they're in. The Chiefs and Ravens are out.
But the Ravens have made a move. The Eagles have made 3 in a week. What has your team done?
And the Cowboys have made 1, but they're not ready to tell us what it is yet.
And obviously they didn't need that player yesterday, so they were waiting until today to make the move.
Miller and Moulton. Hey, it took a while, but yesterday afternoon, the World Series ratings came in.
Yes, they did.
Did you see how many people watched Game 7 on a Saturday night?
Right.
And one of the 2 teams involved is from Canada.
One thing we've told you over the years, and we've been doing this a while, and we're wrong a lot. We understand that. Comes with the territory. But when it's games of consequence, people watch. It really doesn't matter the sport. And boy, oh boy, did they watch baseball.
Highest rated game in 8 years.
It peaked at over 31 million people. And it averaged 26 million viewers. That's in this country. That doesn't include what watched in Canada and what was watching in Japan.
Highest rated baseball game since Game 7 of the 2017 World Series, which was Dodgers-Astros. Highest rated baseball game in 8 years. By the way, these are not the 100% official ratings. Actually, the I gets dotted and the T crossed later today. And what usually happens is this goes up slightly, a couple 100,000 viewers. But basically, mark in on it. 31.5 million at peak, otherwise known as, let's see, 11:30 to 11:45 Eastern. What are we talking here? The 9th? I think that was the 9th inning.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Although I was only seeing out of one eye at that point.
Or maybe it was the 11th, who knows. But anyway, peak was 31.5, and it averaged 26. That's big. That's double, by the way. Remember, now, granted, it was Oklahoma City, Indiana. It was. But then again, baseball had one team from Canada. All right. And the 10 plus million watching in Canada don't count in this number. But, this is double Game 7 of the NBA Finals.
Oh, and trust me, if you're on X and you follow any baseball people, you know what the NBA game did, because they are all standing up on their soapbox, pounding their chest that baseball is the number 2 sport in the land. Hey, baseball guy, it's actually college football. But
I think the official MLB Twitter /X, I believe that they made sure to point out how good this number was in comparison specifically to the NBA. And I believe, Mark, they said it's the 3rd most popular sport in this country behind NFL and CFP. I believe the official MLB X account said that.
okay.
But they made sure to let everybody know. And Mark, do you know who they're really making sure to let people know?
ESPN.
And all the companies that they're still negotiating with for their future TV and streaming deal.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt. There's no doubt that they are, but baseball, I know you're not listening, but if you were, get to work now. How reminiscent of this is what? Was it 94 hockey that we had the lockout the next year?
Oh, yeah. The season didn't start on time. It started like 3 months late, right?
I mean, how reminiscent to you, at least, David? I mean, obviously that was your team and it was a great moment for you, but you're a hockey guy like I am. We want the sport to succeed. It never will, we know. Not like the others. But they had a lockout after their best ratings ever. Rangers win the cup in 94, and then they lock out in the fall of 94 and don't begin until into 95.
When Major League Baseball went on strike in mid-August.
Right.
The only thing they were competing against was football, and football and baseball were tied at that point as to who was number 1. Right. So they had a lockout. Timing.
Baseball will play next year, but there are no guarantees after that.
No.
And we've been telling you for a few years that a lockout's coming. And the owners are not on the same page. Manfred's talking salary cap. It's not even going to get to the union because the owners can't agree upon it.
And the Players Association is under investigation from the feds for corruption. I mean, it's a mess. The sport's doing great. People like the product. Attendance has been up 4 years in a row. TV ratings are obviously going very well. Hell, they're going to let the regular stars play in the Olympics. They're going to shut the season down for a week and a half so that Judge can play for the U.S. and Ohtani can play for Japan. Nobody's going to watch that in the summer of 28, right?
So, baseball, you had a remarkable postseason. You really did. I mean, yeah, the Dodgers ran through the NL, but the AL playoffs were pretty damn good. Pretty exciting.
Excellent.
Great World Series. Not a good World Series. An all-time World Series with an all-time Game 7. This is actual momentum. This is true momentum. And the only thing that can stop it is baseball itself.
There we go. And boy, can they stop it. Yes, they can. And they've done it before. More than once, actually. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, congratulations on an incredible year I hope there's another one next year because David's right. Attendance is great. And think about it. It looks like with new ownership in Tampa, they've solved that problem. Vegas has taken care of the other problem. Expansion is on the horizon. But so's a lockout. Miller and Moulton. American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family-owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 13325.
For 22 years, we've been more than just a jewelry store. We're your neighbors at the Diamond District.
From custom design and expert repairs to gold buying, appraisals, and spa treatments for your jewelry, we do it all right here in the store.
Whether you're creating something new or bringing new life to a family heirloom,
our team handles every piece with care, craft, and experience.
22 years of dedicated service only at the Diamond District.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
This is Miller and Moulton.
You know what I figured out? Never want a pizza on a Monday. Nobody's open.
Nobody's open?
I mean, your Little Caesars is, but the pizza places that I go to are not open on Mondays. Not a one.
Wow.
And that's what I wanted for dinner last night. Settled with a smash burger. It was good. It was very good.
By the way, great timing for ESPN. They decide during the spring and summer of 2025, this is the time to give up on Major League Baseball. Oops. Yep. Adam, how long have you been listening to this show? How closely have you listened to Mark talk about the food he eats. And outside of the gas station that he gets his tacos from, what do you think the odds are that Mark would go get his pizza at Hungry Howie's?
There's not a chain pizza I'll eat. Not one. Not one. The closest would be Jets. Their greasy Detroit pizza in a pinch would do. But I'd rather not have pizza than get chain food. It's just who I am. You can't avoid some chains. Some are local, some are regional. I mean, I went all out a couple weeks ago, and I actually had Chick-fil-A for breakfast because my daughter was starving. And first off, pineapple on a pizza, Adam? Oh, good God. My daughter likes pineapple on a pizza. I refuse to order it for her. I'm like, no.
Once again, good parenting, Mark. Very good parenting. You have my complete support.
Those of you, no offense, I love you. Thank you for listening. But those of you that are saying Hungry Howie's and Domino's is good pizza, in my opinion, have no idea what good pizza is. None whatsoever.
Now, DC, that's good strategy.
Taco pizza. What the hell is the matter with you? Taco pizza. No, tacos. Pizza, not taco pizza. I don't put pepperoni on my tacos, nor do I want salsa on my pizza. What the hell's going on around here?
Cats and dogs.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. We don't do politics on this show, but one of the breaking stories this morning is former Vice President Dick Cheney passed away last night. He was 84 years old. So former Vice President Dick Cheney passing away last night. The man that he was vice president of, George Walker Bush, was at George W. Bush, was at the Monday Night Football game last night. A rousing ovation.
Yeah, well, he is a Texan after all, David.
Yes, he is. And he
I
lives
thought you
in
might
that
get a little
area.
booth time with him last night. I was hoping he would, because now you have been very fortunate because of
Yes.
working the Army-Navy game for CBS for all those years. You were lucky enough to have met President Obama and President Trump. Am I missing any presidents that were in the booth with you?
No, when Trump came to the booth, he was president-elect. He had just won, but yes. So two of the, 40-something.
Come on now. Not many people
Totally.
can say that.
Totally.
And that's where Miller and Moulton have always said, you put your politics aside. It doesn't matter who it is. You respect the office. You shake the man's hand and said, pleasure to meet you, Mr. President. And that's the end of it. So I thought you were going to get another one last night.
Well, and I know that there was at least a chance because on the floor in every booth, there is tape that is put down, colored tape. And it's where Joe and Troy should stand when they do what we call the on camera. And in Dallas in particular, the camera that's set up is, set. It's permanent. And so stand on your marks, and they set the lighting up for you to stand on those marks. They have the camera for you to stand on those marks. And in between the two long pink strips of tape and both of Joe and Troy's tapes were angled on the floor. there was a yellow piece of tape that went straight across that actually connected the two pink tapes. And it just simply said GB on it. And I looked and I went, huh, I guess there's a chance the former president makes his way to the booth. And yes, Mark, because the other thing is, I'm guessing that the former first lady would have come with him. I've never met a first lady, and I would have been thrilled, honored to be in the presence of a former president and a former first lady. So yes,
and Moulton would have been unbelievable in Troy's ear going, ask about the Rangers. How about that? Because, get a baseball question in, or even Hand and Joe question. It'd have been something. Uh-oh. We've got one, David. We've got one.
An NFL trade?
We've got one.
Is it a big one?
I don't know about a big one, but the Bengals are dealing linebacker Logan Wilson to the Cowboys, according to a couple of sources. Both Ian Rappaport and Jordan Schultz reporting that the Cowboys are getting Bengal linebacker Logan Wilson. So that must have been Jarrett's trade.
So that's the linebacker.
Jordan Schultz also reporting that the Cowboys have spoken to the Bengals on Trey Hendrickson and to the Dolphins on Bradley Chubb.
Jerry actually thinks this team's making a run for the playoffs. That is adorable.
It really is.
That is so cute. Wow. Boy, talk about a guy who sees the world as a glass half full. Man.
That football team he does.
I'll tell you. I mean, who wouldn't want to be around optimism like that?
All right, that's two, David. That's two, because we didn't count the Eagles trade.
No, because that had happened.
Right, that didn't count.
Right, and then you set the over-under. So the Ravens acquired Draymond Jones from Tennessee for a 5th-round pick. He's an edge rusher. All right, and now Dallas gets Logan Wilson from the Bengals. So that's 2. Over-under's 5.5. And I'm going over. Hell, I'm going over 7.5. I think we got some wheeling and dealing today.
Wilson is a tackling machine. Led the Bengals in tackles from 21 to 23. Had 104 tackles last year, and he missed 6 games.
Right. And they benched him early in this season. They're playing the 2 rookie linebackers. He wasn't happy about it. He said, get me the out of here.
You know what his nickname is? The Cowboy. Because he played at Wyoming. And he's from there. So the Cowboy is going to the Cowboys.
Because they're 3-5-1. They're poised. I am curious if he's under contract for beyond this year, because I am not against, and in fact, I'm very much for acquiring players in all sports who have another year left on their deal, if not even more. Like Waddle's under contract through 28. I mean, seriously. Dolphins are asking for a first-round pick.
Is he worth a 1 then to you?
Yes. For a good team? Yes, absolutely.
I mean, Pittsburgh, Miami and Pittsburgh have no problem doing deals with one another. Pittsburgh is out trying to get a receiver. If you're Pittsburgh, do you go get Waddle for a 1? And I know you don't think Pittsburgh has a chance to make the Super Bowl, and I agree with you. But they can still win that division.
Do you think he's a number 1 wide receiver, or do you think he's a really good 2?
I think he's a really good 2.
Okay. He's under contract for 3.5 more seasons. you're getting him when he's what, 26? I mean, listen, I would rather the Bucks spend their resources on the other side of the ball. But I mean, tell me it doesn't make sense for someone like Tampa Bay. Listen, Godwin's future is a question mark. It is. And Evans' future might be 2.5 more months. I mean, Waddle's under contract.
I mean, Abuke's a 1.
Yeah.
And you put Waddle with him, I'm okay with that. I'm with you. I'd rather see them go to the other side of the ball. And they probably know more about Godwin than we do, but I don't think you're wrong into questioning how good he's going to be going forward.
But see, to me, this is the type of deal a bad team can make. I mean, if you're the Giants, now you shouldn't give up your first-round pick because it could be a top 5 pick of the draft. Okay, but you mean to tell me you can't give up a second-rounder this year and a second-rounder in 27? Give up 2 2s for Waddle?
My only problem with Waddle is he gets the drops, David. I don't think he has the best hands in the world.
Okay.
That's my issue with Waddle. But
see,
Jacksonville, if Hunter's out, Jacksonville, if you're going to make a run at the playoffs, you need another receiver. You do.
You do. Once again, I'd rather spend my resources on the other side of the ball first, but he's got 3.5 years left on a contract. And by the way, he can't be that mad at you. You're going to make him a number 1. He's never been that before. Which is why I think his contract ages well, because if in fact he is a 1, but he's been stuck behind Tyreek, he's getting paid good number 2 money to be a 1. Miller and Moulton. There's the deal. 8.5 more hours, baby. Let's go.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to NolanAgency.com. That's 941-639-1122. or NolanAgency.com.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
It's the event everyone will be talking about when college basketball's biggest names take the court in Fort Myers. The Michigan State Spartans and the North Carolina Tar Heels headline the 2025 Skechers Fort Myers Tip-Off. Witness the excitement live and in person this Thanksgiving week at Suncoast Arena. The stage is set. Will you be there? Lock in your spot now at FortMyersTipOff.com/go. That's FortMyersTipOff.com/go. See you Thanksgiving week at Suncoast Arena.
This is Miller and Moulton.
RCB, I know you're a Bucs fan, and I understand what you're saying. Do you think you can win a Super Bowl with the receivers you have right now? I mean, you got a chance to go deep into the playoffs. And you're not going to get a proven O lineman. You can get a proven D lineman. You can get help in the middle, but you need an edge guy more than you need an inside guy. I understand completely what you're saying, RCB. I do. Did you see the story in the Post, David, about the ex-Ranger player who's now with Ottawa's Farm Club and all the money? That girl's from Saginaw, from my hometown.
Oh, really?
I'm reading the article, and it's like she filed something with the Saginaw Township Police Department. It's like, I got to reach out to some of my buddies and go, so you guys go to the junior games. Was she hanging out trying to find herself a hockey player there, or what's the story? Because she's young.
Yes.
Ooh, that's a great question, Left Twix. That's a good question. Pickens, I think, has more talent. Waddle plays harder every play. What do you think there, David?
I think it might be Pickens close, but Waddle's under contract for 3.5 more years, and you have to sign Pickens up against everybody else. And Waddle doesn't have attitude issues, and Pickens has up until this year. Yinzer isn't Forsling great. I think he's the best TV hockey guy going.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes until Pat Kirwan joins us to talk all things NFL, not just on the field, but off. A guy who's made some trades, although granted, when he was handling things in front offices, an in-season trade? Ha! Blasphemous, I tell you. And now, Now, NFL is almost conducting business like the other major sports. Almost.
They're getting there. They're not there yet.
No.
And
Today
you're
could be a big day,
right.
though.
I don't want them to move it another. I know you want them to move it even another week or two. I don't. I don't know. I don't know what you would call me for this. I hate the fact that trade deadlines are unbelievably late in the season. Like, I just don't like it. I like you building a team. I like the idea of draft and farm systems and building a team that way, as opposed to there's a month left in the season and let's go trade for a big fish. I'm not a fan of that.
Okay. Now, I will say, by the way, the NBA trade deadline is pretty damn early. The NBA trade deadline's right around the All-Star break. I mean, it's right around the Super Bowl. I mean, it's pretty damn early in the proceedings when you think about it. I mean, the hockey deadline is late.
Hockey deadline's late.
Late. There's like 4 to 6 weeks left in the season.
Right.
For the hockey deadline. I mean, so you know if you're in or out. I mean, just about everybody that's acquired at the deadline is a rental. But, Mark, if you think about it, teams in the NFL have played 8 or 9 games, depending on if they've had their bye or not. I mean, this is smack dab in the middle of the season.
No, I like the deadline where it is. This is perfect. Most teams should know by now if they're in or not. And even, and you wonder, like a team like Arizona that lost so many close games, they're better than their record.
You know what I was thinking all last night was, could Arizona just have the fourth quarter of that Tennessee game back?
Right.
2 scores, the running back breaks off the 70-something yard touchdown run and then fumbles it on his own at the half-yard line. That game's over. They win. They'd be 4-4. Okay? Yeah, they're in the toughest division in the league. Literally the toughest division in the league. The other 3 teams in their division all have 6 wins. I mean, the NFC West is the toughest division in the league. But they'd at least be 4-4.
I just don't like the idea of late season fire sales for teams, where at the midpoint, you don't really have fire sales, and you don't have many fire sales in the NFL anyhow. But Arizona, that's a team, they've got players people would want.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I don't think they'll be sellers either. Now, was there a chance of them to sell a part or two if they had lost last night to fall to 2-6? Oh, sure. Sure. But now, no. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I think my Bills friend was a little upset that they won last night because he had his eye on Baker.
Baker?
Yeah, going to Buffalo. Because it's a need.
Don't you think the Raiders should be selling all parts today?
Yes. But Pete's not in this for a rebuild.
Yeah, I know, but everybody else who's important in that organization is thinking they're going to be there longer than Pete. I mean, the GM is not even half Pete's age, I don't think. Okay. They're 2-6 now? You got to be looking to the future. How can they not be selling parts?
Well, the one team to me that should be selling, and there should be teams interested, if you're going to get a rental, call the Commanders. They're the oldest team in the league. That's where you go get a rental, because that old guy, if he can stay healthy, going to be hungry for a playoff run. Because most of those guys would know it's their last shot.
Agreed.
So I think Washington needs to be active, because in being the oldest team, they've got to turn that roster over. They've got a great young quarterback. They do. And you've got to start getting players that are going to be there with him. So I think Washington should be very active today. The Dolphins have been. If the reports are right that the Cowboys were talking to the Dolphins about Chubb, that means other teams are talking to the Dolphins about Chubb.
Listening to a little Cowboys post game, and I will say, a big time college team losing their post game radio may be the best post game in all of sports. A top 20 college team losing. Oh, that post game radio is amazing. Amazing, especially when they begin to take calls. Oh my goodness. Everybody's got to go. It's awesome.
Hold on.
But
hold on.
Oh yeah.
Hold on.
Oh yeah.
I know how you got from the stadium to the hotel.
Yep.
Who turned it on?
Aikman.
Oh my goodness.
And he even said, he goes, the next half hour is the best radio in the Dallas market. Okay. He goes, there's nothing like Cowboys post game when they lose. Okay. He did. Yep.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Because there's what I thought was going to happen. Hey, Troy, can we put on the post game?
No.
Troy's going to look at you like, are you out of your mind?
Right. Nope. He even said, he goes, we got to turn on the ticket. And we're like, it's your car, you're driving. All right. Quick side story. So anyway, we needed a ride back to the hotel. Troy lives about 8 minutes from the hotel. It's kind of on his way home. And the first 4 blocks getting out of Texas Stadium is a mess. Once you navigate that, no matter what side of the stadium on, you're fine. But it could literally take you an hour and a half to go 4 blocks. And so that's why, we don't have access. We don't have an escort. Troy and Joe and a few others get an escort. So we said to Troy, can we hop in the back of your car? And he said, yeah, sure. So, so we pull up to the hotel, and this is an NFL hotel. It's a very nice hotel. It's a 5-star hotel with private villas. I'm not in one, but I have been in the past.
In one before. You've gotten a villa. Yes.
Twice, right. Private villas. Right. Okay. Yes. To the side of the 18th green. I've been pin high on 18 twice. Anyway. All right. We pull up to this 5-star hotel at 11 o'clock at night, and 2 very well-dressed bellhops run out to the car. Okay,
damn right they do, because you're at a high-end joint.
Right, because somebody's checking in probably or coming back from the game. And, obviously the car is going to be valeted and what have you.
Not to mention, I'm just guessing the guy driving, the iron that he's behind is a pretty good automobile. I don't think it's Moulton's car pulling into this place, if you know what I mean. I don't think it's a Hyundai, all right? I'm just saying.
You don't think that Troy pulled up in a Kia? Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't.
You don't think he orders his pizza from Hungry Howie's? Is that what you're saying? So, anyway, the car pulls up. And yes, it's a nice car, as one would expect. All right? And so the 2 very eager, gentlemen come up, opening up car doors, and they know there's stuff in the back, and they're opening up the back. Well, the guy who walks around the car to the back of the car is Troy Aikman. This
is Dallas, by the way. Right.
Right. Okay. This might as well be, Paul McCartney in London. All right. And so they stop, mouths agape. And they look up, and they're unable to say, welcome to the Ritz-Carlton, sir. May I help you with your bags? They're standing there. They're looking at him, us 3 schleps, Joe's 2 helpers, and me, get out of the back of the car. They literally are looking at him, looking at us, pointing at him, unable to speak. Okay? We walk around to the back of the car. Hey, how you doing? We grab our stuff. Okay. Troy closes the door. We're the ones going into the hotel. He's the driver.
The only thing that would have made that story better is if you would have walked up to Aikman and handed him $5 and said thanks.
Right.
Hey, appreciate the ride, buddy. Have a good night.
But this is what we did, and I swear we did it. Okay, he closes the door. We fist bump the whole deal. Hey, thanks. Good game. Safe ride home. What have you? And because I had said it last year, so Sfida says it this year. He says, we'll make sure to give you a good review. Thanks. And so then we're walking in, the car pulls away, we stop and turn around, and they're still frozen. Okay, they're looking around like, what the heck just happened? Okay, and the one guy goes, that was Troy Aikman, right? We're like, yeah.
Yeah, he's our driver. Outstanding. Can't make that stuff up.
No, we can't. But anyway, so we had about 20-something minutes, and they hadn't gotten to the phones yet. But Mark, they were talking about who it was they were going to acquire. Okay, they were getting Minka, by the way. That was the big name that we heard in the 20 minutes. Hey, we got to go get Minka Fitzpatrick. Oh, really? I wanted to call in and go, you're 3-5-1, man. This ain't happening.
By the way, there are some teams that could use a safety. Now, I don't think Miami would deal with Buffalo, but I think you could get Minka right now. Who can't you get? I mean, to me on the Dolphins, there's some of their linemen that I'm not even thinking about trading. Some of those old linemen I think can play a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Achane, I'm not moving. Other than that, who can't you get from Miami?
By the way, I would have no problem trading with Buffalo if I was Miami, but I would say to them, you do know you're going to have to pay a penalty. You're going to have to go around higher price than everybody else. You know, if I can get a 3 for him from someone else, you're going to have to give me either a 3+ or you're going to have to give me a 2.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. And I don't know if you'd go around higher if you're Buffalo, but I think a 3+, and even if it's a 6, I just think that's a move that Buffalo needs to make. I think they need a safety.
I think they need a rusher. They need a pass rusher. They do. They've lost 2 defensive linemen in the last week. But they're tough to find. They're pricey. They are.
Very pricey. But safeties can be had. Linebackers can be had. Wide receivers can be had.
Curious if you're the Bills. Do you think Von Miller has anything left in him? You've just had him for a few years. He left. He signed with Washington. You need bodies. Can you call Washington and say, we'll give you a late-round draft pick. You have to pick up his salary. Hey, at least you get something for him. I mean, I'm just wondering if you're Buffalo. You throw a 6th Washington's way. You guys got to pick up a salary. We have no money. And do you bring Von Miller back for 8-9 games? 20 snaps a game.
By the way, Ian Rappaport reporting that Logan Wilson deal, it's a 7th rounder. If that's the case, good for Dallas. Seriously.
Well, I mean, the Bengals demoted him.
No, I know.
Yeah.
He wasn't starting. They put the 2 rookies in. I get it. But for a 7th, why not?
I agree with that. Besides, to me, he's a good young player that they should want to keep around. I don't know what his contractual status is, but he's better than most of what they have. I'd want him on the team for 26 and 27.
Miller and Moulton, hoping for lots of trades. I set the over-under at 5.5 after the Phillips trade yesterday. David went over. We're at 2.
Oh,
I tried to move the line to 7.5. He budged.
Oh, no, I give me a little little action, I'll take it. I need a little something, but yeah, I'll take it. Oh no, I'm winning these bets. No, this league is coming around. Okay, this league has real potential, Mark. Pat Kirwan next.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Football season is back, and celebrate your game day with Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell him Miller and Moulton sent
This
you.
year during Thanksgiving week, Fort Myers takes the national stage, hosting not one but 2 elite women's college basketball tournaments. The Fort Myers Tip-Off and Coconut Hoops, both featuring Power 4 teams and nationally ranked programs. Few places in the country can showcase this level of talent. We're proud that Fort Myers is one of them. Don't miss your chance. For tickets, go to visitfortmyers.com/basketball. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
Honey, you want to come out? I haven't seen you since Glass Doctor installed our custom shower enclosure.
No thanks.
Well, you can't keep eating breakfast in the shower, and laminating your magazines is getting expensive. You remember we have guests coming over tonight, right?
Oh, I'm sure they'd love to see the shower.
It's our neighbors, and I highly doubt they want to be hanging out in our bathroom.
The shower's so good, you'll never want to leave. Visit glassdoctor.com today and schedule an appointment online.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
This is Miller and Moulton.
Good morning, Mark.
Morning, Pat. How are you?
I'm doing great. I got to catch up with you either today or tomorrow and get those tickets. They got a game tomorrow night.
Okay, absolutely.
Yeah, my brothers are in town, so they all fired up to go. Whatever's good for you.
Are you in town?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I can do it. I can come meet you after the show. I got nothing going on today.
All right, great. Yes.
Oh, the Cowboys made their trade, Pat.
Yeah, I love it. I made fun of Jerry yesterday.
Oh, I heard you.
I said, this guy is P.T. Barnum, and I'm tired of it. And he made it sound like he was getting an elite player. Oh, by the way, Cincinnati, rule of thumb, trade the guy before you bench him.
Yeah, no kidding.
Don't bench him and then think you've lost value. You could have got a 5th or a 6th for the guy, but you benched him and he couldn't get more than a 7th. And they could have traded him 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
But it's Cincinnati. I have to be really careful what I say about the Cincinnati defense because the coordinator, who I tried to recruit in high school, went to the high school my grandson's playing at, and they think he walks on water. So I can I could never say anything.
Well, I tell you what, and we'll talk. I mean, I was not going nuts, but yesterday when the Eagles made the move for Phillips, I'm like, no offense, but Tampa, Detroit, what are you doing? Green Bay. I mean, you do something here. The team that's the champions are making moves. And right now, all roads go through Philadelphia for the title. They still do. I think the Rams might have the best team. I think the Seahawks are close, but until proven otherwise, the Eagles are the ones that have done it.
Yeah, and they've decided what they feel like they need to get to the finish line. And notice, you heard me yesterday. You don't hear that Howie saying one word while he's getting 3 players into the program, while Jerry's talking like revolutionary changes coming. What the hell? How bad did they look last night?
They looked really bad. They looked like a team that thought that they were just better than their opponent, and we just need to show up at home and throw our helmets on the field.
Yep.
And if the offense can't carry the day, the defense is not good enough to even keep you in a game, never mind win it for you.
That is true. And I felt like every time I was with my brother and Brad Childress and a couple of guys. Every time I turned my head, there was another Cowboy dropping a pass.
They dropped 4 in the first quarter, and then the tight end had a second quarter fumble. And by the way, Clowney looked great last night. He did. Clowney looked terrific.
Rusher.
He looked terrific last night.
Hey, he was born to rush the passer. He was not born to work out.
Nope. No, he
God
looked
gave him this
really
gift,
good.
And it's not going away until he finally breaks down. But
Sweat looked really good last night too. Really good.
Yeah. Well, if you look at the 7 teams in the playoffs, Detroit and Kansas City on the outside looking in.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
We are halfway home on this first Tuesday of November. Although it's final hour of the show in Lake City, Live Oak and surrounding areas, Port Charlotte, Venice and surrounding areas, Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. David Laurila, who covers Major League Baseball for a living, will join us in a little more than 35 minutes' time. But we welcome Pat Kirwan from NFL Radio and the Moving the Chains show, weekdays 3 to 7, Saturdays 2 to 5, CBS's NFL Today on Sunday. And we welcome him, courtesy of Pinchers, Tampa to Key West, all points in between. Pinchers, where you can't fake fresh. Pat, I don't know if you're aware, but today is American Football Day.
I am not aware of that. And thank you for the information. I'll look at the day with great respect for football. And maybe I'll work on some football today.
Pat's World, 365 days a year is American Football Day.
Yeah.
All right. You know, the Cowboys made a trade, whatever. Let's talk about the Eagles. Because they've made 3 moves in a week. And as I'm sitting here as a closet Lions fan, being from Michigan, and I love the Bucs and what they're all about, and even the 2 teams out west, all 3 teams out west for that matter. When you try to figure out who's going to win the NFC, it's anybody's guess. But the Eagles are being proactive. Do you like the moves that they're making? And does that make them, in your eyes, the favorite right now in the NFC?
Well, I do. The Phillips deal, I would say that others were in, but they backed out at the compensation part of it. And that would be your point. Why would you back out if you're making a run for a Super Bowl? Stay in it and get the guy. But that's and Howie doesn't talk like Jerry, who's telling you all the things he's going to do. Yesterday he was ridiculous, but Howie just gets the deals done. But if you peel the onion back, I like the Phillips part. They gave up Mitchie to get Carter. Carter's just okay. And Jair Alexander has played 61 plays. He's a big name guy who doesn't play. But I do like that they got 3 guys to fortify their roster, even if some of them, like Alexander, might be inactive on certain weeks. I think the 3 of us know come the deep into the playoffs, second or third round, all of a sudden you're going to see Alexander out there starting because of an injury. So I love guys who back and fortify their rosters. And I think Howie does a great job, and he does it in a quiet way, but he's a deal maker. He's not afraid. He knows what he's going to pay for guys. He's not sitting there and saying, I have to get back to you. I've got to talk to someone. Whenever I heard that, I knew, okay, we're not doing a deal with these guys. But Howie can pull the trigger, which David could pull the trigger. He wants to pull the trigger for a team, but a lot of these guys can't do it.
Okay, here's why I'm surprised that teams are not more aggressive. The Rams made 2 moves the year they won the Super Bowl to bring in 2 rental defensive linemen. And they paid a pretty damn good price, thank you very much. But they won a Super Bowl. Nobody even remembers the price that they gave up.
No.
The Chiefs went and gave up a 3rd and a 5th for Tony. And listen, did the guy flame out? Yes, but he didn't that half season with the Chiefs, and they don't beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl without Kadarius Toney, and they gave up a 3rd and more for him. And does anybody regret it, even though he only lasted a year and a half? No, because they won the last game of the year. Pat, this is what I don't understand. The NFL has always been a copycat league. In this decade, there's been 2 of the last 4 teams that have won Super Bowls that have been very aggressive with an in-season trade that has literally been the difference between them winning or not winning the Super Bowl. Why is the rest of the league then not copying it?
Well, as I said, you need deal makers, and everyone said, well, that should be a prerequisite to having the job. Well, it's not. Number one. Number 2, there are cap restrictions, and some people live by the dollar. And you would think, and we criticize those teams, that they're not spending fully, they're not manipulating their contracts and creating space to get anyone they want. So financial, whether you like it or not, I'm answering your question with why they don't.
Mm-hmm.
3, like a lot of teams wouldn't trade for Jair Alexander. 61 plays, they would just say, nope, we're not doing it. Giving up Mechie for Carter, they might not do that. I think more guys were in on the Phillips trade, but when you see a 3rd in this day and age, the one thing I know David, is there's not a lot of big compensation trades. When it gets to a 3rd, to me, Howie knocked everyone else out of the block. That's what he did. I guarantee guys were going, I'll give you a 5th for him. I'll give you a 4th. But no, I couldn't go past that. He just took all the guys at the poker table right out with the 3rd. No one else was going near it. And it's obviously true because they got him. But it's, as you were talking about historical facts about roster building, although it's definitely forgotten, I remember when Pete was in Seattle and he went and got Percy Harvin. And if you remember that Super Bowl, which I know you remember everything, he was like one of the first jet sweep guys. And they ran a jet sweep like on the second play of the game for like 40 yards. And that set the tone for what they were going to be like. So there are guys that understand it. They're not always in the same set of circumstances to do now what they did back then. The pecking order of who's in charge. But these GMs, they think draft picks, and you said this before, they look at draft picks like gold. And I keep saying on this show, Mark, to you, give away a 3rd, a 4th, a 5th. I can get one by moving back down and around and multiplying it back up to something.
Not to mention, most teams are going to lose a player to free agency, and they're going to get a compensatory 3rd, 4th round pick anyhow.
All right.
So, and if you're making a run, the 3rd round pick that the Eagles gave up is going to be somewhere around pick 95. I would make the move. All right.
Yeah. But
Pat,
I heard you mention Minka. Last thing. Minka's got a contract next year for $15 million or more. That will scare some people off. Because how much are they going to give for a 1-year guy? Because I have no intention of paying $15 million, and I'm going to use him for the season. That's why you see all these 7s and 6s. And the last thing I'll say is, hey, Cincinnati, don't bench the guy before you trade him. As soon as you benched him, compensation went down. Trade him 2 weeks ago with the intention of bench him if you don't get him traded. I think they would have got a 5th or a 6th.
All right. Buffalo beat Kansas City because that's what they do in the regular season. Kansas City right now is out of the playoffs.
Right.
Pat, we always joke around on this show. Our $20. Who are you taking right now if I told you got to take one team to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl, who are you picking today? Because I'm still picking Kansas City, by the way.
Yeah. It would be Kansas. I was at the game. It was a great game. Kansas City or Buffalo. I don't really buy into, they win the regular season, they lose. Those are facts. But I was standing on that sideline for that whole night. And you know what I saw? I saw a terrible offensive line in Kansas City. Once again, the same line that lost 2 Super Bowls. And I also saw a Buffalo team without Ed Oliver rush 4 guys the whole game. They didn't have to blitz one time. And they hit him. They hit Mahomes 15 times and sacked him 3 or 4 times. And he was running for his life the whole time. So I'm not so fast to jump off Buffalo yet. But Buffalo or Kansas City, I don't see the other guys. No, someone might say Denver. I think it's too early to say New England. The Colts will be in there, but they were not going to get to the Super Bowl. How many times have we said, for any of these young quarterbacks to get to the Super Bowl in the AFC, you're going to have to beat 2 of those 3, Lamar, Josh, and Pat. I don't think any of the young guys can do that.
Pat, can you speed up the process as a general manager? Or like Indianapolis, New England. They could be the top 2 seeds in the AFC, but come January, we look at other teams for various reasons and we're like, yeah, they've been there, done that. These guys are going to have to go through it before. Can you as a GM make a deal to speed up the process, or are the Patriots ultimately not going to be able to go as far this year as they will in a future year because, they're just not ready?
I think they're smart, and they're not operating like this is the year for the Super Bowl. This was the year to take a big step forward, protect the quarterback by buying a defense. So they did all their trading, buying, whatever you want to call it, in the offseason last year. And they got a big-time veteran defense. We've gone through this, 6 free agents, unrestricted guys, a cap casualty, a waiver wire guys. They got all those guys. They made their moves to build this so the quarterback could have some freedom to make a few mistakes and still win games. I think they'll have another aggressive offseason. It's clear that Bob Kraft, as he's getting older, is going to want to take and make some big moves. I don't know that they would throw money. I think Mike's pretty strict about the kind of guys he likes. Next year, they'll be really in contention. I think this time next year, we're going to be going there for real. They look like a team that could break through on the big 3 quarterbacks.
All right. Very interesting Sunday in the NFC North. The Packers blow a game against Carolina. The Bears win in unbelievable fashion with that crazy game with Cincinnati. And Minnesota beats Detroit. Talk to me about the Lions, because Gibbs didn't. I was driving back from Jacksonville. I went to the Georgia-Florida football game on Saturday. So I was driving back Sunday listening, and sounded to me like Gibbs didn't want to step in front of blitzers. And Lomas Brown was having a really tough time with that. Pat, just talk to me about Detroit and what they were giving up against the blitz against the Vikings, and that sounds like it's something that needs fixing.
Well, if I said to you, what are the 3, in order, most important jobs that Gibbs has? 1 would be running with the ball, 2 would be catching the ball, and 3 would be blocking the blitz. Now, they're in the top 3, so they're all important. But the first 2 are the reasons he's who he is. And sometimes, by the way, they lost 2 linemen in the game. As soon as you lose 2 linemen, there's a lot of freedom to get after the quarterback. I say this about undersized tight ends, and I'll say the same thing about Gibbs. You tell me what's a more effective way to use Gibbs. Line up in the backfield and pick up a Mike backer who's coming 100 miles an hour, or line up in the slot and displace somebody so they don't have a blitzer.
He's Pat Kirwan. NFL Radio's moving the chains. More with Pat after this.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
This year during Thanksgiving week, Fort Myers takes the national stage, hosting not one but 2 elite women's college basketball tournaments, the Fort Myers Tip-Off and Coconut Hoops, both featuring Power 4 teams and nationally ranked programs. Few places in the country can showcase this level of talent. We're proud that Fort Myers is one of them. Don't miss your chance. For tickets, go to visitfortmyers.com/basketball. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
This is Miller and Moulton.
So the up and backs have started for you, huh, Pat?
Yeah, they have. So thank God I was flying home with Cower, so I got back to Jersey on Sunday night. I was home by 10:45, and everyone else had to take a Monday morning flight, which would have made it impossible for me to get down here in time for everything I had to do. So we're in the city this weekend, and then the weekend after, I'm going to Denver to see Kansas City again.
That'll be interesting because that defense is good, really good. And
Yeah.
Bo Nix has impressed me with his legs more than his arm.
I said this yesterday to Jim. The class of 2024, Drake May, Penix, Caleb, Daniels, McCarthy, Bo Nix. I mean, it's a pretty good class.
Well, McCarthy plays like he did last week. It's even better. He was great against Detroit from the way it sounded. I mean, I didn't see his play. I watched or listened to. I was bouncing between your network, the NFL network, their red zone, if you will,
yep,
and the Lions game. And McCarthy sounded like he played really well.
And he was cocky when he was playing too. He was, when you can be cocky in game 3 of your career, he was loose. And we had a call last week that didn't want to play him. They wanted to play the third kid. Jim was yelling and screaming at the guy. I told the guy, don't call in today. Save the energy. He's going to abuse you. Be careful. Stay home. Don't pick up the phone. Yeah, but I as a draft class, it's hard not to think it's pretty good. Drake May's playing good. Penix threw 3 touchdowns. Caleb had a big run in that last minute of play there to set up the winning touchdown. Daniels broke down, but we all know he's good. McCarthy played in Bo Nix. I mean, you start looking at that crowd. considering some of the disasters. Well, when you live in New York, you just think they're all disasters, but they're not. Guys around the country are doing pretty good. I don't know how Kelsey got up right before half. What a shot they put on his, and I thought he broke his ribs. He came walking by me. He couldn't breathe.
I'll say this also.
Took him in.
Pat, that tackle by Espinosa on Mahomes, first off, I can't believe Mahomes stayed in bounds knowing full well he was going to take that hit. He always avoids that hit. That surprised me. But that might be the hardest I've ever seen Mahomes get hit.
It was, as the game ended, I kind of thought he's not going to make the season. And I don't think every game will be like this, but you said it before. Buffalo doesn't have an outstanding pass rush.
No.
They didn't even have Ed Oliver inside.
No.
And they were killing him.
Now, I will say Simmons has now walked back in the door. That would kind of, he was playing well. That'll make things better. It, by the way, shows just how bad Washington's front line is. Okay, because Washington didn't do much, particularly in the second half against the Chiefs. And we saw what the Bills just did. And the Bills are down 2 linemen from 10 days ago.
Yeah, I know. How about the offense? Denver, 18 points. Green Bay, 13 points. Washington, 14. Dallas, 17. What?
Well, there's a lot of bend but don't break out there right now, and then stop them in the red zone going on, and it seems to be working. And also, Pat, when in doubt, 4th and 3, 4th and 4, coaches will go for it, and they won't take the points. So,
no, that's now about a 3-year-old problem. Analytics has infected the minds of many.
Yep.
I sit with Bill. If I got $1 for every time Bill said, take the points, I'd be a rich man. It's unbelievable. They listen to that garbage.
And they're not going to quit listening to it.
No. But they'll get fired. Okay, Jacoby Brissett and Mac Jones. Would you leave him on the field? I would.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. We're with Pat Kirwan, NFL Radio's Moving the Chains, CBS's NFL Today show. Pat and all our guests joining us, American Paint Supplies Hotline, your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. All right. Forget the standings. Just your gut feeling about these teams. They're all in the same predicament in the standings. But just, there are teams that finish by going 6-3 and 7-2 and what have you. So when you look at Houston, still capable or broken?
Nah, broken.
Minnesota coming off a big win, but right now you gotta. I mean, you gotta be really good to make the playoffs in the NFC. The Vikings, they got issues on the offensive line. Broken or still together?
I have them still together for 2 big reasons. Number one, they're 1 win behind the leader of the division. That division is all botched up with everybody clogged into the 5-win, and they're at 4-4. I like them because I'm intrigued by the quarterback. Doesn't mean I think he's going to do it, but I think I want to see more. But what I saw, I liked. But I like their defense too. They can get after you. So in a division like that, can we stop anointing Green Bay? Can we start worrying about Detroit with Lyman down? I think Minnesota can hang around and still be in this picture. And back to Houston. The Houston's so far behind Indianapolis, I don't know how they're going to do it. There's not a wild card coming out of that division, by the way, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Pat.
The only other one I was going to ask, Baltimore, okay, is it because the schedule got favorable? Or when you look at them, do you go, no, I think they're about ready to be the Ravens?
I think they're getting ready to be the Ravens. I mean, they played Thursday night, so it's like so far back in our minds that we can't remember how good Lamar was with his 4 touchdowns. So I would not ever count them out. So I like them to stay alive in the race. And you're asking me, can they catch Pittsburgh? I do. Pittsburgh defense played great Sunday, but I haven't seen that defense. And is it gonna? If it starts showing up every week, then it's a little bit of a problem for Baltimore. But I still like Baltimore to make it.
Yeah, I mean, you can't count on getting 6 turnovers. I mean, Pittsburgh's had 2 games, I think one where they created 5 turnovers, one where they've created 6. Other than that, they've been not very good defensively. So I don't think you can count on that on a week-to-week basis. Are the Chargers, like I'm with you. I don't think the Jags make the playoffs. They're in today, but I think Kansas City will catch them.
Yeah.
Are the Chargers going to be a playoff team with Alt now going down? When they had both linemen out, they struggled mightily. They're going to have to face that again. Can the Chargers win enough games down the stretch to get into the playoffs?
No, I think you hit it right on the head because we saw them without tackles. And really, it goes right back to what David said. He asked me if the Ravens are going to make it. When you look at the wild cards, let's assume New England or Buffalo, one of them's a wild card. Let's say Kansas City's getting in. I think at least 2 of us agree on that. So it's the Chargers versus the Ravens. And I'm not so sure I like the Chargers to maintain. Their division is a rough division to win games. Baltimore's got games against teams like Cleveland and Cincinnati. The other guys, the Chargers have games against teams like Kansas City and Denver.
Well, and just circled this one. In 2 weeks, the Jags host the Chargers. And Pat, we wonder if that's a wild card tiebreaker, which one of them can stagger to the finish and get to 10, and will that game potentially determine the 7 seed? Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I think I started watching Jacksonville yesterday to go back and watch the Raider game because I have Pete on today. I was not impressed with them. And there was a lot of good. Now, the Raiders are not a good team. Jacksonville had all they could do to handle that game, and Pete went for 2 and all that. I don't think Jacksonville's going to make it at all. And I just look at that team and go, they're another team. You sure what they're going to look like next Sunday?
No.
I'm never sure.
No. What about the Bears? I mean, that was a big win because they almost choked it up, but obviously everybody scores against Cincinnati. But I thought it was an important game for Caleb Williams heading into the game, and then he delivered, Pat.
Yes, he did, and he takes a lot of criticism. The Bear fan base and media is programmed to accuse him of being a bust without even thinking about it. I feel like I defend him a lot more than Jim. Jim is frustrated with his development, but I'm not. I thought what he did the other day, Mark, took a step. If he just takes a step every week, he's going to be there, and he's going to be good. I like that whole class right now. We were talking about that off the air. I don't think they make the playoffs. That defense is not very good. And did Joe Flacco have the greatest passing day of his 40 years? Yeah.
How about his last 2 games that have both resulted in losses?
I know.
I mean, this guy, we did a Thursday night game 6 years ago. Flacco was done. He was shot. He was awful. He got benched by the Broncos. He was terrible. I mean, where did this guy come from? This is unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. And behind a line that's been heavily criticized that they couldn't protect Burrow when he was remember? Oh,
yeah.
Poor Burrow. The line can't protect him. Just go put a stopwatch on the release times. It's not even close. Flacco gets rid of the ball much faster than Burrow. Burrow needs to learn a lesson from this. Let's stop blaming the line and get rid of the ball, Joe.
Yeah, Joe's already coming under some heat in Cincinnati by how well Flacco's playing. There's no doubt. I understand where you're coming from on the Bears, and I think the Vikings are still in it. The team I wonder the most about is San Francisco because they are so banged up, Pat. And, in that division, a lot of tough games left. Are you confident San Francisco is a playoff team?
No, because there's 2 questions with them besides the medical and the right. We talked about this in the spring. They invested a lot of money in their top players. And when the top players go down, they don't have the resources to back it up. So you lose Bosa, you lose Fred in the middle. And now it's really down to McCaffrey. McCaffrey's got to deliver every week. And when he doesn't, they have really nothing to fall back on. And I asked you guys both the same question. Mac Jones and Jacoby Brissett, would you leave him on the field?
Yes.
100%.
Yeah, and the coaches are clever. Well, when the starter's healthy, he has his job back. Bill Cowher said to me once, I used to have that as a rule until my backup was really good. And then I said, the hell with that.
Pat, we got about a minute left. The Packers lose the tight end who had a breakthrough.
Yeah.
It was a real weapon. They have once again injuries at receiver. If you're Green Bay, you've already made one big all-in move. Shouldn't you go get yourself a receiver? I mean, they're not good enough on the outside right now, and their guys keep getting hurt.
What a time to lose Pat. Pat's got that call coming in again.
I know. Man.
I wonder if they go,
really
I've heard rumors. I've heard rumors, not about a guy on the outside, but working with Pittsburgh on maybe Freiermuth being dealt. Pittsburgh's got 600 tight ends.
Well, we talked about this. We thought that the Dolphins should have gotten one of them when they dealt with them in the offseason.
We got you back, Pat. Should Green Bay, I don't know if you heard the question that David asked. We've got less than a minute. Should Green Bay make a move for somebody on the outside with all their injuries?
Yes. It's not really in their nature to be aggressive like that, but I definitely think they should. This is opportunity. Who are the teams? They're one of those teams that should be thinking of themselves as, what do we have to do to make sure we get to the Super Bowl? They've been talking about Super Bowls for a long time, and they have a team that should be able to compete right to the finish line. I don't know. I think we'd have a long time laugh about picking who's going to the Super Bowl from the NFC. It's easy to say Philly, and probably true. But after that, we get Ram votes for that job. We get Seattle votes for that job. We definitely get Green Bay and Detroit votes.
Pat Kirwan, NFL Radio, moving the chains here on Miller and Moulton.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 13325.
It's the event everyone will be talking about when college basketball's biggest names take the court in Fort Myers. The Michigan State Spartans and the North Carolina Tar Heels headline the 2025 Skechers Fort Myers Tip-Off. Witness the excitement live and in person this Thanksgiving week at Suncoast Arena. The stage is set. Will you be there? Lock in your spot now at FortMyersTipOff.com/go. That's FortMyersTipOff.com/go. See you Thanksgiving week at Suncoast Arena.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
So my last thing on Lou Whitaker for the day, David. But John Morosi posted, Lou Whitaker has a higher career WAR than the following second baseman: Sandberg, Roberto Alomar, Biggio, Chase Utley, Joe Gordon, Jeff Kent, Jose Altuve.
Okay, we need to slow down. Can we go one at a time?
Sandberg.
Who's better, Lou Whitaker or Ryan Sandberg?
Ryan Sandberg.
Okay.
And he even says his WAR is not a perfect metric, but when a player stands out that much versus his peers, voters should listen. Roberto Alomar.
I liked Alomar better, but
close. Biggio's a much better hitter, obviously.
Yeah, didn't play his whole career at second. I think Whitaker was a better second baseman.
Chase
Utley. Biggio had better numbers because he played longer, but Whitaker was a better second baseman.
Chase Utley.
I think that's a great comp. I think that's a great comp.
Joe Gordon, and that I have no idea.
Yeah, that goes back.
Right. Jeff Kent.
Well, Kemp's offensive numbers are arguably
ridiculous.
The best of any second baseman ever. So,
and Altuve's better, but I mean, it's an interesting.
Well, but to me though, it shows the fallacy of WAR though. That would be my argument. It's like, hey, come on now. There's 3 or 4 guys here in which they're better players than Lou Whitaker. I mean, even a Tiger fan just admitted that. Didn't it take Trammell a while to get in?
A little bit, I think.
Yeah, which surprised me.
Wow.
You got to call our guest.
Oh, crud.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. Thanks so much for being with us. Talking a lot of football today. It is National Football Day after all. So
like it needs a day.
Right. Like it only has one. But we ask you, so which do you prefer, college or the NFL? All right. That's our question. Go vote accordingly. David Laurila is kind enough to join us. He covers Major League Baseball for Fangraphs, and he's kind enough to join us once again. You can follow him on X at David Laurila, LaurilaQA. David Laurila, QA. And you can read his work at fangraphs.com. David, it's David and Mark. Thanks for joining us once again. How are you?
Morning, gentlemen. I'm doing great outside of the fact that the Major League Baseball season is over and the sun goes down way too early.
Yes, it does. We discussed that yesterday, no doubt. I'm all for daylight savings time year round. Obviously, the numbers were tremendous. The World Series was epic. Game 7 was unbelievable. You cover this sport for a living, and it's hard to rank it just after. But where do you rank this World Series in the time you've been covering the sport?
Oh, man, that's hard. I've seen a little bit, people have been talking about this. I haven't really dug in trying to see what was more spectacular. I did have an opportunity to cover in person the entire Cubs Cleveland Indians series that went to 10 innings in Game 7. Maybe that was a little more, I think that was maybe more special because the Cubs hadn't won it. This is certainly close. I mean, I'm old enough that the 1975 series was really important to me. So yeah, but no, this is on the short list. It was brilliant. My adult daughter was home in town for Game 6 and 7. We watched Game 7 together, and she looked at me at one point. She's a relatively casual fan. She looked at me in the 10th inning and said, "What on earth are we seeing here? This is amazing." So yeah, it was great theater.
David, what happened in the last 4 weeks? I mean, we had a Seattle-Toronto ALCS. I mean, it wasn't 10 minutes ago that if we said, could we put an ALCS on paper that could get the worst ratings possible, we would have written down Seattle and Toronto. Then Fox buries the series on FS1 because college football and the NFL means a lot more to them than the ALCS. And as that series went along, that series started doing monster numbers. Seattle and Toronto. All right. The Game 5 between Detroit and Seattle, which finished at 2 a.m, okay, was like the highest rated division game in a decade. What happened with Major League Baseball in the last 4 weeks? I mean, this was a bit of a ratings explosion.
Well, I mean, baseball is dying, right? We've been hearing that for years, which is, of course, insane. And don't get me started on the way that Fox handles Major League Baseball, from their analysts to, interviewing managers in game in Game 7. I mean, what on earth was that? But no, baseball is wonderful. The series you just mentioned were absolutely incredible. I mean, I was riveted to my television, wishing I was at those games. One thing I wasn't wishing for was 18 innings in the World Series. Basically because I was sitting in my living room watching, having to write a game story at 3:30 in the morning. And let me tell you guys, my lifestyle does not normally involve being awake at, midnight, let alone 3:30.
And so many storylines from this. I mean, Yamamoto coming in, Ohtani starting and doing all the things. You got the young kid Yusevich pitching again in Game 7 at 22 after he pitched 2 games in the World Series. What's the storyline you take away the most from that World Series?
Wow. Yamamoto, I guess it would have to be. What he did was amazing. I don't think it was impressive as Christy Mathewson throwing 3 complete game shutouts. I know that's a redundancy, complete game shutouts. 27 scoreless innings, and I think in like a 6-day span in 1905 was more amazing. But yeah, Yamamoto, what he did, was Randy Johnson-ish. And of course, let's not forget though, Yamamoto was the star. That ball that Clement hit, that absolutely spectacular catch by Pages. Pages doesn't make that great catch. Yamamoto's a losing pitcher. So it's, baseball is crazy that way. Yamamoto was a star, and he almost gave the game up.
Do you think the people involved in the sport realize how important making sure what they have now continues? Because we all, you, Miller and Moulton, anybody else who covers baseball close or from afar or cares about it, has talked for 2 years that we're going to have a lockout in the winter of 2027 or 2026. Does baseball and everybody, the players now, the owners, Manfred, do they realize now is not the time to do what they have done so often for the last 50 years? Even just a piecemeal deal that makes nobody happy, David, really needs to be done in the next 12 months because they've got their act together. They got it going on. They can't screw this up.
Matt, well, I mean, there's probably an analogy to the U.S. government right now, but I don't think we want to go there. But,
please.
Yeah, but with the whole lockout thing,
don't.
I mean, I've been saying for a very, very long time that MLB desperately needs a commissioner who is independent from working for the owners, which basically is what Rob Manfred does. I do not trust that most owners in Major League Baseball have the best interest of the game at heart. They have the best interest of their own pocketbooks in heart. And there are many, many examples of owners that you can give who have made an incredible amount of money, who could spend a lot of money, and they don't do it. I mean, sort of jumping over a little bit, you know, the Tampa Bay Rays have new ownership. They really need to spend, because if you look at how well that organization is run, despite the ownership they've had, like look at the Dodgers. The Dodgers are run by Andrew Friedman, who used to be the GM of the Rays.
Right.
There are GMs and former GMs all over the sport who have been with the Rays. I mean, the Rays, the Dodgers, I don't know how many people listening realize the Tampa Bay Rays connections to the Dodgers. Brandon Gomes is their GM. You know, Blake Snell is there. Tyler Glasnow is there. A few other pitchers. I mean, the Tampa Bay Rays, and I know I'm really taking this off topic, have been a stellar organization, but for the fact that they aren't willing to spend money, that they have more money to spend than most people realize.
You're preaching to the choir here, because it looks like they're going to get a new stadium deal. They're going to try to replicate what Atlanta did. And if they get that done in Tampa, I think the sky's the limit for that franchise. It would have just been nice if they would have maybe let Snell pitch a few more innings. It seemed to work out well for the Dodgers.
It did work out well for the Dodgers and not so well for the way the Rays did it. But they followed the process, and the process normally works, right? It's just, that was a mistake in retrospect. But, you know, hindsight is 20/20, as they say.
When you look at the Jays, I mean, they were last place last year, 6 inches away from winning the World Series this year. Do you think that they are finally fulfilling their potential, or do you think that they caught lightning this year?
I mean, I guess you kind of catch lightning when, you know, you win in the postseason, which they ultimately didn't win the final game. No, they're another pretty well-run organization. Ross Atkins, their GM, Shapiro, is a president of baseball ops. Those guys have got criticism over the last few years with Jays fans thinking, fire them, get rid of them. This team isn't going anywhere. And you know what? They did go somewhere. What will they do this coming off season? They have decisions to make. You re-sign Bo Bichette. Does Bichette want to stay there? I assume the answer is yes. But yeah, I mean, I feel really, really bad for that fan base, which is absolutely huge, that they did not win the World Series. The Dodgers deserve to win, and they obviously have a great fan base, but yeah, the Toronto Blue Jays deserve to win that World Series as well.
All right. Want to talk about this contemporary era Hall of Fame ballot. There are not two people who do a radio show who have been bigger proponents of getting Dale Murphy into the Hall than Miller and Moulton. But when I look at this list, it's a pretty tough list. Who do you see out of this group getting into the Hall of Fame?
I think the answer is I see nobody getting in because there are a lot of worthy candidates, but, the committee that I don't believe has been formed yet is going to have so many disparate ideas that unless they get together and say, we need somebody in, and I guess they'd collude would be the way of putting it. I think it's going to be a shutout. Dale Murphy is interesting. Murphy, in some ways, with a couple of MVP awards, is more famous than a few of the other players. Fernando Valenzuela, I can understand why he's on there, but I was looking at how his overall career numbers compare to other pitchers. And the closest comp that I found was Kenny Holtzman. I think you guys probably are familiar with Holtzman.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the younger fans aren't. Good pitcher in the 1970s, almost identical record. So I think Fernando Valenzuela is on that list because he is quote unquote famous. A player who should be on that list and belongs in is Lou Whitaker. I've been, pounding on that name for a long time.
Well, my co-host grew up in Michigan and is a diehard Tigers fan. And during the commercial break, literally just read to me the names of 5 Hall of Fame second basemen whose WAR is not as good as Lou Whitaker. So you trust me, David, you have a compadre, okay, in Mark Miller.
Right. The Whitaker Trammell thing to me, I think that connection is so important as well. The most games played together as a double play combination is important. Joe Tinker and Johnny Evers are in the Hall of Fame because of a poem and them playing together for the Cubs. Literally over 100 years ago, right? But along with, say, I think Chase Utley and Jimmy Rollins, I think might have the second most games played together. Whitaker Trammell was a better combination and more deserving. Like Lou Whitaker has very similar numbers to Chase Utley, who is now in the Hall of Fame. He played a little longer, maybe has a little better numbers. So, yes, I'm on another tangent again, but Lou Whitaker it's a travesty that he is not on that list.
Well, it's funny you said that because when we were talking, I thought Utley and Whitaker was a great comparison. And much like with Trammell and Whitaker, it took Trammell getting in for Whitaker to get some traction. I think it's going to take either Utley or Rollins, probably Utley getting in for them Rollins to get some traction. But David, thanks for the time. There'll be a lot to talk about during the off season, and hopefully you'll keep taking our calls.
There always is a lot to talk about in the off season, guys. Baseball, is the MLB season is over as far as games played. It is far from over as far as captivating news.
In fact, free agency begins by the weekend. He's David Laurila, Fangraphs.com, joining us once again here on Miller and Moulton. Look at you going Hall of Fame. Of the 2 people hosting this show, you went a baseball Hall of Fame Veterans Committee. I'm tears in my eyes. I want to just reach through the screen and hug you.
Well, I didn't expect him to go Whitaker there. You and I have been pounding the table for Dale Murphy for over a decade.
He was the second best. He was the second best player in the National League in the 80s. Michael Jack Schmidt was the first. Dale Murphy was the second. Andre Dawson, you could argue maybe second, Murphy third. Unbelievable. How in the world can one of the top 3 players in a league for a decade not make the Hall of Fame?
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Football season is back, and celebrate your game day with Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell him Miller and Moulton sent you. For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or nolanagency.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Logic Man, you asked a very, for me, complicated question. Because, I stay in literally 5-star hotels for Monday Night Football. The NFL is in major cities, so there's less trouble getting to them than coming in college games. The stadiums are terrific. I like cities a lot. I love cities. So, I like walking to the game. Like, it's a mile walk in Cincinnati. Now, the stadium is, below average compared to other NFL stadiums and what have you. But and the airport's not convenient because it's across the border in Kentucky, and the airport itself is one of the 3 longest walks from where your plane lands to your luggage in the history of airports. But, Minneapolis, Detroit, if you get the right hotel, Dallas, Vegas, you could walk to the game easily. Dallas is really easy.
And the one thing I do know from my travel at much worse hotels is that you don't spend a whole lot of time checking out the city. You're there to work. You're in and out.
Right.
You just don't. Looking back, I wish I would have done far more things in the cities I was in. I really kind of didn't do that and wish I would have, looking back upon it. But, 20 and 30 something me wasn't interested in doing what 50 something me would want to have done.
LA's a hassle. San Francisco's a hassle. I will say the traffic in Arizona can be horrendous. I like Houston. In terms of being able to get in, get to the hotel. And get in the right hotel, you can walk. But even the hotel we were in, it took us 15 minutes post-game to get out of the parking lot, turn around, and get to the hotel. Buffalo's a hassle. Getting in and out, the stadium, where it is located. Kansas City's a hassle, although they finally fixed the airport. Was the worst airport in America. But, but you don't hear me complain because I know how lucky I am. I got people paying for my travel, putting me up in 5-star hotels. And sometimes I'm in a police escort to or from the game. Come on. It's ridiculous.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the bonus hour, the Diamond District bonus hour of Miller and Moulton on this first Tuesday in November. I don't know how many places have big elections today. How many places have or big ballot initiatives? Like I was reading during a break, Mark, about how, in a way, the future of the Spurs and San Antonio is on the ballot today. And it looks as if the measure's going to go down in flames. Right now it's like 6 points down based on all polling. And the owners don't want to say it's the future of the Spurs and San Antonio, but they've said, this is it. This is the best we can come up with. And they're willing to pay $500 million. They're willing to pay all construction overruns. The mayor's not in favor of it. I got to admit, it does crack me up. And yes, we're coming at it from the sports guy perspective. But it's like, to me, I had just moved to Jacksonville. And they were having a mayoral election in Jacksonville. Well, how could either candidate not be in favor of what the Jags want? How do you think you're getting elected if you're not in favor of doing, a public-private partnership 50-50 with the Jags? Really? And apparently the mayor of San Antonio is not in favor, has not endorsed the Spurs proposal. How do you stay the mayor of San Antonio?
Well, David, not everybody's in favor of sports, of private money or of public money going to support billionaire owners.
I understand.
There are a lot of people out there that don't like sports, particularly in major cities.
I get it. Take the Spurs out of San Antonio. Tell me what you have.
The Riverwalk.
Okay.
I'm just saying. They have a lot of tourism. They get a lot of conventions there. There's a lot going on in that city.
Yeah, now, because the Spurs have been there for 50 years.
I don't think the Spurs help develop the Riverwalk. But I'm not in San Antonio, so I don't know. I don't think one has anything to do with the other. I could be dead wrong. I'm not paying much attention to the policies and procedures in San Antonio, Texas. I get where you're coming from. I'm just saying there's a lot of people out there, and there's a lot of sports fans out there that don't like the idea of public money supporting billionaire owners.
I get it. I do. I mean, listen, you want to talk about a fight. My wife and daughter, if I bring this issue up, oh my goodness, they don't believe a penny should be spent, okay, towards what it is you and I talk about for a living. Not a dime, as Jim Calhoun famously said.
It's so funny you say that, because I did realize it's election day, and I'm like, and I don't miss a vote. I vote. Right? I think it's the greatest right we have. But I had to look. I'm like, am I supposed to vote today? Because I've not seen anything come in the mail. Usually they send you a ballot, and I'm like, I just looked on the local newspaper site. No, there's not a damn thing for me to vote for today.
Right.
Not a damn thing. I'm
There
good.
are a lot of places in the country where there's nothing going on today.
Not a damn thing.
Got a few mayors, a few attorney generals, governor thing or two. We got a few things going on.
Next year. That's a big.
Sure. Every congressional seat's up. A third of the Senate seats are up. Yes. Next year, that'll work. That's in play. But yeah, it's a quiet election day. But pay attention to the ballot initiative in San Antonio. I find it fascinating. I mean, it's a one-team town. Sorry, UTSA. Sorry. Okay. I mean, come on. And I know Jacksonville has the Florida-Georgia game, and they had it long before they had the Jags. But come on, it's difficult. It's difficult to envision the future of Jacksonville without the Jags. Don't you think it's very difficult to envision the future of San Antonio without the Spurs?
Yes, but I don't look at San Antonio as a major sports town. I get what you're saying. I know it would crush the people in San Antonio, but nationally, if the Spurs picked up and moved anywhere, would anyone outside of San Antonio care? I could say the same thing about the Jags. Not trying to pick on them.
No. I get it. I just think that there's an awful lot that have come to both cities over the last 30, 40 years because of their lone professional sports team. Okay? I don't think the Riverwalk will have been built up to what it is. I don't think Final Fours would have shown up. Okay, without the Spurs, I don't even think that building to host the Final Fours would have been constructed. Okay, but it is fascinating, and there are some deals that are not good deals. They're not. It's the billionaire ownership that wants, all but $8 paid for by us taxpayers. Then there's Ballmer, who built the arena all by himself, $2 billion. The Broncos ownership is apparently going to pay for the whole thing. They just need the land. Can you give me the land? You guys haven't done anything with this land over here. There's railroad tracks nearby. Can you give us the land? We'll do it. We got it.
Obviously Tampa's making a huge leap in giving the new Rays ownership whatever land it is they're going to get for the Rays' new stadium. Because where do the Rays rank in Tampa? We got people listening. We're on in Tampa. Tell us, where do the Rays rank? Are they second or are they third? Because you love the Lightning in Tampa. Love the Lightning. They've done an amazing job. And like David just said, the Rays are as well run a franchise for being so frugal as any in sport. What their winning record is without spending money is amazing. Will they spend it when they say they are? We'll see. But are the Rays second or third to you? I think they're third, but I'm not in Tampa every day.
I think they're third.
But could they be second? If that stadium comes to Tampa like everyone says it will, and it will.
Yes.
Will they become second?
81 home games? Yeah, it'll take a little while. It won't happen right away, although winning right away would help. But, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And even in that, like any town, winning's everything. I mean, the Bucks went through a long, successful run where their season ticket waiting list was, they thought it was a 20-year wait to get season tickets. They went through that waiting list in like 2 off seasons.
Yep.
When it went bad quickly. And the fans had given up on the Glazers. They wanted them to sell. They were spending too much money with Man U. They didn't care about the Bucks. They weren't doing anything right. And all of a sudden, they got this quarterback named Brady.
I mean, Miller and Moulton were getting phone calls from the Bucks, living 125 miles away, going, "Hey, you guys interested in tickets?" Yep. It's funny how these things go, but that's one of the things, on the quote ballot today that I don't know if it'll get any play anywhere outside of San Antonio, but the Spurs have already said the building they're playing in, apparently they have to play there for 6 more years, and they have absolutely no interest in playing there a day longer than contractually they have to.
And as Javier points out, this is a team with multiple championships in San Antonio.
And
a mini dynasty, if you will.
And if teams today, I mean, literally in that league, if you said to the 30 general managers, you can pick one guy for the next 10 plus years in the league, who would you pick? They've got that guy.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Wemby. He's worth putting the TV on for. He really is.
So that's all. Just something that I'm paying attention to. Be a minor story. Might not even be a story.
Will they cover this on NBA radio when you're driving around today? I know.
You are, but I give you so much material to work with. I mean, I can't get mad at you. Ultimately, it's funny. It is.
NBA radio today or MLB radio with Hall of Fame talk? I mean, you got a lot to choose from when you make that drive to get lunch.
Come on. NFL radio, trades. Come on now. I'm counting on you, NFL general managers. Come on now. Especially in the NFC.
West Coast guys, time to get up and get to work. Let's go.
Come on, NFC GMs. Philly's the bar, and they've acquired 3 guys in the last week. Tampa, Seattle, Green Bay, the Rams, the Niners, the Lions. Hell, for that matter, if you're the Bears, do you want to make the playoffs? Just in your own damn division, okay? Do you really think your roster as presently constructed is enough? Or do you think maybe you could use help somewhere?
Well, let me ask you a question. Do the Vikings need help, or did they just get off to a rough start? Because that team that played Detroit looked really good.
Mark, I thought all offseason, and I said it on our show, I thought the Vikings roster outside of the quarterback position was better than last year's Vikings roster. I'm a little concerned about Aaron Jones, and I'm wondering if there's a running back that they could pick up on the cheap. But I liked them elsewhere in comparison to even last year's team that won 14 games. I think ultimately they go as far as the young quarterback takes them, but I do think maybe there's a 6th or 7th round pick they need to spend to acquire another running back or, they can get a body on either side of the ball. You can always use a big body, etc.
Yeah, because that J.J. McCarthy that played last week, that's going to be something to contend with. And all four of those teams think they can make the playoffs. There just isn't enough room. Miller and Moulton. American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor. We fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 13325.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I'm not a fantasy guy, but hasn't Stafford thrown 9 touchdowns his last 2 games, and he's got Devontae Adams to throw to? Now, granted, he's playing the Niners this week, but it's tough not to pick Stafford these days, isn't it? Somebody help me. So the Bears have won what? 5 of 6? The Bears are home. The Giants are 2-7. Why are the Bears only a 3.5-point favorite? Could somebody help me with that? What am I missing? Laughing at your own jokes, are you, Aurora?
As well you should. Way to go stinky on our show.
I was going to say, and very cute word there. Okay. They don't suck. They're not awful. They're stinky.
And I think that's pretty accurate. You know, not only do my Wings play late tonight, the Panthers play late tonight, and the Lightning play late tonight.
Wow. I think American Airlines is trying to make up with me. They keep texting me every like 8 minutes going, no, your plane's on time, and here's the terminal.
By the way, after the Bears-Giants game, at the Vikings, home for the Steelers, at the Eagles, at the Packers.
Who's this for?
Chicago.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour on this first Tuesday of November. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. It's American Football Day. So we ask simply, which form of football do you prefer? College or pro? I voted the NFL. I like the product better. I do.
And I switched over to being a Sunday guy, but the Sundays, the last 3 weeks, Bills Chiefs was good. There have been better games on Saturday.
There's a lot more. I mean, there are,
right.
Especially you throw bye weeks in. I mean, what do we have? 14 games this week. Obviously, in college, you've got 80.
I know, right, but I mean, if I'm just watching SEC football, there's enough good games, David. I can just stick to one conference right now, and it's terrific.
It has been, no doubt. No doubt.
The SEC has been terrific this year.
Yes. I mean, the SEC has been so good this year, you wonder, and we'll say it again, College Football Playoff Committee releases their first rankings of the year tonight. But you wonder almost, Mark, as if 4 spots are just going to be put to the side for the SEC, and it's just a matter of figuring out who they're going to be. If you know what I mean. That it almost doesn't matter what all these elimination games, the Missouris, the Vandys, the Tennessees, the Oklahomas, Texas with 2 losses, they play themselves out, and the committee will sit down at the end and go, well, listen, we know who the group of 5 team is, and we've got the conference champions in 3 other conferences. But before we go any further, can we just pick the 4 from the SEC? Because they're getting 4.
One team that's not getting a spot in the playoff is Auburn. They fired their coach. Did you catch what their athletic director said yesterday?
No, and I have a question for you when you're done about Auburn, but continue.
So John Cohen's the athletic director at Auburn. I'm sure most of you had no idea who the Auburn AD was. We all knew about Scott Woodward and LSU because the governor called him out and said he wasn't picking the coach. And then he was fired, resigned, whatever the hell happened there. John Cohen was asked about the process to find the next football coach. And he said on Monday, and I quote, "I am the committee."
I'm in charge here.
Thank you, Alexander Haig.
Yep.
Yes, I went there for you, David. I went back to the 80s.
44-year-old reference. Thank you.
Exactly. It starts and ends with me, he said.
There you go.
He said he's not sure whether a search firm will be involved, but I will be hands-on throughout the process. I love it. I am the committee.
I am and by the way, it's how it should be. I mean,
does pay a lot of money for that? Be that in that position?
Why does the person have the athletic director's job if they're not the one that makes the decision as to what coaches are hired and fired? I mean, is there anything more important in the job than that? Are we missing something? There's a lot of day-to-day details, but isn't this the most important aspect of your job?
100%.
The hiring and firing of coaches.
Raising money.
You could argue nowadays
and hiring
it's raising
coaches.
money. Right.
1 and 1A.
But my question for you, though, Mark, is Auburn LSU light or is LSU Auburn light when it comes to coaches and hirings and firings and buyouts? And because this is it's 50-something million that Auburn has paid out here now this decade now. It's 3 different coaches. Add them up, it's in the mid-50s in buyouts. They have no problem.
That guy.
Well, right. That's why I'm wondering, I mean, is Auburn LSU light or is LSU Auburn light?
Auburn is LSU light.
Okay. I think it is too. But I mean, yes, you win a national title at LSU, that guarantees you a year and a half.
Right.
Right. I mean, they're but Auburn has no trouble getting rid of you within 2 years of taking you to a natty. They have no problem at all. They have no problem letting you keep your job, getting on the plane, flying, and entertaining your replacement. No problem at all.
You're right.
I love them both, by the way. I really do. I love my diva wide receivers, and I love my college programs that are messes. I just do. It's not – I know it's not the best way to go about things, but come on. Tell me LSU and Auburn are not fun. They're a mess,
fun.
But they're fun.
I guess you were able, when you were working with the SEC on CBS, to see the greatest thing Auburn's had in 50 years.
Right.
I don't think of Auburn the way others do. I think that was, Georgia Tech in 90, if you know what I mean. It was lightning in a bottle. It was the one great run that team had. And I know they had a couple others good years. I know they had the year on probation. They were undefeated, and they've had a year here, a year there. When I look at LSU, that to me, at minimum, should be a 9-win team every year. When you're always number 2 in your own state, always, no matter what, I don't look at you as a program, as a top-level program. Like, I will never look at my alma mater as a top-level program unless the best team in the state screws it up.
I think first off, no one can argue the whole you're always going to be little brother. Okay, that's it. Come on. You're in the same state as Alabama. I mean, that is royalty in the sport. Royalty. Has been for a long time, likely will be for a long time. But, Mark, I'll say this. Terry Bowden had an undefeated season in the 90s. Tommy Tuberville had an undefeated season in 2004. They won the title in 2010. They played for it in 2013. They were in the SEC title game in 2017. You can get players and win there.
No,
okay?
you're an
they,
hour.
They ain't
Atlanta. I got
they ain't Georgia Tech, which has had not many moments since 1990. They ain't your spark. I mean, no offense. When Auburn has it going, they take Mark, D'Antonio's best season and they trump it. Okay. I mean, you can win a national championship at Auburn. You can.
I will say most of those years you're talking about this century, the school in Athens didn't have it going on. And now when Alabama's got it going on and Georgia's going on, it makes it that much harder on Auburn. Those are the two big rivals for Auburn. Alabama's number one, but Georgia is clearly number two. And when they have it going on, it's harder for Auburn.
No doubt. But this is how much talent Auburn can consistently get their hands on. Hugh Freeze was attacked for his recruiting. He was playing too much golf. There are 3 teams in the country who haven't given up more than 24 points to a Power 4 opponent: Ohio State, Indiana, and Auburn. That you can get talent at Auburn, consistently talent. If Diego Pavia was at Auburn, they'd be a top 15 team in the country. Okay? Seriously. I mean, you can get talent at Auburn consistently. Good, compete for the playoffs talent at Auburn. But I just wanted to ask if you thought they were LSU light or LSU was Auburn light. That's all.
And I think Adam makes a good point. Do you want to finish this rant with a war damn eagle? I don't think he's off base at all asking you that. I really don't. Miller and Moulton, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Today was a day when and what's on tap. It's how we finish things, and it's next.
They've cut the nets, they've raised the banners, and now they're headed to Fort Myers. Michigan State, North Carolina, and other top programs take the court in the Skechers Fort Myers Tip-Off this Thanksgiving week. Legendary programs, championship traditions, college basketball's biggest names, live at Suncoast Arena. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours now at FortMyersTipoff.com/go. That's FortMyersTipoff.com/go.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
In Deadstroke, I don't know if David answered you, but yes, he did.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Diamond District bonus hour continues. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day when. It's all coming up. And by coming up, I mean like now.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
Today was the day when, brought to you by the Fort Myers Tip-Off. Thanksgiving week, 8 teams on the men's side, headlined by North Carolina and Michigan State. Women's tournament starts on Friday. 8 more teams, basketball all week long. For information on tickets, go to FortMyersTipoff.com. Think I'm going to the Tuesday game, by the way. I don't think I'm going to do the Thanksgiving Michigan State, North Carolina game. But the guy that I mentioned that, shot his age 6,000 times, 2,100 times or whatever it is, he's a Spartan alum, and I think I'm going to take him to the ECU game. I think I'm going to go to the Tuesday game. Not to mention the Tuesday game's like a noon start, I think. That is right in my wheelhouse.
Oh. Boy,
We start.
Ever.
I mean, it really is. Nothing says sporting event to this guy like a noon start. All right, 1842 is where we start. A struggling lawyer gets married. His name, Abraham Lincoln. Today in 1879, James Riddy of Dayton, Ohio, receives a patent for a mechanical cash register he calls an incorruptible cashier. He and his engineer brother John invented it to keep bartenders at James' Saloon from pilfering profits. 1903, Harvard Stadium, the first stadium built specifically for American football, holds its first game. Today in 22, Howard Carter discovers the intact tomb of King Tut. Arnold Rothstein, who fixed the World Series, was shot for refusing to pay gambling debts today in 1928. He would die on the 6th. Today in 51, the Ryder Cup at Pinehurst. That had to be chilly. Plane captain Sam Snead helps the U.S. demolish the Great Britain team 9.5, 2.5. Pink Floyd made their U.S. live debut today, sharing a bill with Big Brother and the Holding Company at Winterland Auditorium in San Francisco today in 67. 1976, the first mass market free agent re-entry draft. Reggie Jackson, Joe Rudy, Gene Tennis, Raleigh Fingers, among those available. Today in 79, 500 Iranian students seized the U.S. Embassy, taking 90 hostages for 444 days. Today in 84, Prince opened his Purple Rain Tour with his new band, The Revolution, the first of 7 shows at Joe Louis Arena in Detroit. First NBA game in Orlando was today in 1989. The Magic would lose to the Nets. The Spice Girls released their debut album, Spice, and how could we have ever lived without it today in 96. And in 01, Arizona wins 3-2 over the Yankees in Game 7. Co-MVPs Randy Johnson and Curt Schilling. Will Rogers, Walter Cronkite, Art Carney, and Loretta Swit would have all celebrated birthdays today. I watched 2 episodes of MASH yesterday, David, on MeTV. Just wanted to let you know. Ralph Macchio is 64. Matthew McConaughey and Puff Daddy, they're both 56. Vince Wilfork is 44. Devin Hester, 43. Des Bryant, 37. Jared Verse and Tyrese Maxey are both 25 years old today. What did I miss, David?
Did you have King Tut?
I did have King Tut.
Okay, I thought you did. Thought I heard you mention that. Sorry. They assassinated Rabin in Israel 30 years ago today. And Barack Obama was elected president today, 17 years ago.
My daughter is studying English or Egyptian pharaohs. So on the ride home from school yesterday, of course, I played her Steve Martin's King Tut. To which she finished. She said, born in Arizona. I'm like, honey, it's all made up. Because there was a song she learned about Mesopotamia, and it was all factual. Like all the words. It was a cute little catchy song, helped them learn. And she's thinking that this song was factual. No. This is a comedian in the 70s that wrote King Tut.
King Tut Funky Tut. Okay, right. One other thing.
He's my favorite honky. One of the great lines.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. The Iranian hostage crisis started today in '79.
Lasted for 444 days.
So you had that one too?
I did.
Man, see, it's tough to listen to what you're bringing up and then have me look up things to augment it. Man.
Well, here's just an idea I'll produce on air. We take a commercial break before this segment. If you were to look the things up then, you wouldn't have to ignore me the way I ignore you during the starting five.
You know, there are times that I've done that. Okay. And that's what a really good, consistent co-host would do. But as you know, having worked with me for 19 years, I'm not a good, consistent co-host.
Kyle Larson won the NASCAR championship. I learned that yesterday.
See, you were paying attention to something yesterday.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
And we actually get along.
You know, it would be hysterical if at the end of the starting five, if you started going, "Hey, did you have Kyle Larson won the NASCAR race?" I'd be like, "Yep, I had that."
We go to Arizona for the good, where Frank was finally captured after 2 days on the loose in Cottonwood, Arizona. Frank is an emu who was running loose through traffic last week and was on the loose, but finally run down by authorities.
Should we take Saga's On the Loose and put that soundtrack underneath Frank the Emu on the Loose?
The fact that you knew that it was Saga that wrote On the Loose really impresses me, David.
I actually saw them open for Pat Benatar back in the day.
That's a show.
Actually, the second act was really good.
The whole Love is a Battlefield just killed me for her.
No, the video was horrendous. Horrendous.
That video came out. I thought she was hot, and then that video came out, and I just could never look at her the same way again.
I don't think that song had been released yet when I saw this concert. Because
Fair enough.
That video's horrendous.
For the bad, we go to Polk County, where a Florida woman is behind bars after a rip-roaring drunk brawl that started as an argument and ended with a street fight against her husband, a firefighter, and law enforcement. 24-year-old Leilani Sullivan was arrested last month and charged with domestic violence, battery by strangulation, battery on a firefighter, and 2 counts of resisting arrest. Sheriff Grady Judd recounted the scene, and he said, "Oh, brother, she got rip-roaring drunk, took off every bit of her clothes. When we found her, she was in the front yard of her house after biting and slapping around her husband, who dialed 911. So we tried to arrest her, and she didn't like that at all." He finished by saying, "How much do you have to drink to rip off all your clothes, slap your husband around, bite him, then lay down in the front yard? I can't answer that, but Leilani can." She's scheduled to appear in court on November the 18th. And finally, the ugly. We go to Missouri. This might be one of my biggest fears in life. I love roller coasters, David. And Chris and Casey Evans also love roller coasters. They're season ticket holders at an amusement park in Missouri, and they were riding the Mamba, the biggest coaster there, when the girl in the row behind them let out a blood-curdling scream. They thought it was her first time on the ride. Then she said her seatbelt came undone. He and his wife said they knew the ride fairly well, told the girl she was going to be okay. He looped his arm underneath her lap bar, which had a pretty big gap in it. The wife grabbed a hold of her wrist and was pushing down on her legs. It has a 205-foot drop and gets passengers going at a speed of 75 miles an hour. They informed the park of what happened after the ride was over. They kept the girl in her seat, reported the incident to management. They became separated from the girl after the incident and have not spoken to her. But a World of Fun spokesperson said the ride was immediately shut down following the incident. It was reopened later that day after a thorough inspection. That, David, is the good, the bad, and the ugly. Brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department. Hiring new officers, great pay, great benefits, overtime opportunities. For more information, where do they go?
CapeCops.com, CapeCops.com. Did they keep her in her seat, or was she just too scared to leave it? Because I might be sitting there for a very long period of time.
Well, they had to hold her down and push the. I mean, think about it. You're going down. I mean, it's fortunately didn't have any loop-de-loops.
Right.
But oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You know, you're doing turns at 60 miles an hour to stay in your seat as a young girl. Holy cow.
These two strangers going, "Oh, don't worry, honey. We've got season tickets. You'll be fine. Just hold on to my arm." Wait, what?
Unbelievable. David, we've got action tonight.
You're damn right we do, Mark. You're damn right we do. And we have arguably the worst college football team in the country playing at 7 o'clock on CBS Sports Network. For those of you who don't know where CBS Sports Network is, UMass is so bad, you'll want to find it. Yes. And they are a 9.5-point underdog at 3-6 Akron.
I'm laying it.
Yeah, damn right. All right. By the way, good game, Maction, 7 o'clock ESPN2. The Bobcats of Ohio are a 2.5-point favorite at home against Miami of Ohio. So there.
Orlando on the road in Atlanta taking on the Hawks tonight.
On NBC National in the Eastern and Central time zones. That's apparently how they're doing these Tuesday night doubleheaders, Mark. Eastern half of the country gets the early game. Okay, Western half of the country gets the late game, OKC and the Clippers.
Florida teams out west tonight in hockey. Sorry, David.
No, I was just going to say, if you're a fan and you want to watch both, you can go to Peacock, and they'll have both games all the time.
Panthers in Anaheim taking on the Ducks at 10. Lightning and the Avalanche at 9:30. Probably the best game on the docket tonight. Maybe Edmonton, Dallas at 8. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
TNT doubleheader is Carolina and the Rangers at 7 and Lightning and Avs at 9:30. So there you go. So you got Maction, got a little NBA, got a little NHL.
There's college basketball going on, but nothing great tonight. Yeah. Duke plays Texas. Duke's like a 9.5-point favorite in that game. Texas is not in the top 25.
Yeah, that's the Dick Vitale Invitational, I believe. Big Ten Network tonight, early. You want to watch the number one preseason team in the country? Purdue on the Big Ten Network tonight in their season opener.
Evansville is who they're playing. So last night, couple of good games, obviously with Florida and Arizona playing, and then Nova and BYU in the second half of that doubleheader, both pretty good. Tonight, not as much there, but college basketball off and running.
Florida State's new head coach, his debut is tonight at home.
College Football Playoff Committee releases their first rankings tonight. We'll discuss that tomorrow, and we'll do so with Bud Elliott. Seth Everett on the show as well, and Chris Perkins to talk the Dolphins. Miller and Moulton. Have a great rest of your day.
pride ourselves in being local. We're here in the community.
And in the showroom every day. We live here, we work here, and we love being a part of our guests' milestone moments.
From engagement rings to stylish fashion pieces, our showroom holds something special for everyone.
And we've got a fresh look that makes the Diamond District feel like a new store.
So come see us, Jason and Todd, and experience the newness of the Diamond District.
At the Diamond District.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples, off of Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This year during Thanksgiving week, Fort Myers takes the national stage, hosting not one but two elite women's college basketball tournaments, the Fort Myers Tip-Off and Coconut Hoops, both featuring Power 4 teams and nationally ranked programs. Few places in the country can showcase this level of talent. We're proud that Fort Myers is one of them. Don't miss your chance. For tickets, go to visitfortmyers.com/basketball. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
When Glass Doctor replaces your windshield, we don't just send you on your way, we send you off protected. Your local Glass Doctor includes the industry's only 12-month windshield protection plan at no extra cost. That means unlimited chip repairs and even a one-time replacement if needed. High-quality service backed by real peace of mind, right here in your neighborhood.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Exclusions apply. See your local Glass Doctor for details.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
This is Miller and Moulton.